This is Channel 7's Big Ten Ticket with Don Shane and Bo Schembechler.
For Michigan, it is the game in between the two biggies. It's the Illini in Champaign, sandwiched between another comeback win over Minnesota and the showdown at Purdue. For the Spartans, it's a home game against the Minnesota team trying to get over that loss to Michigan. Hello, everybody. I'm Don Shane. He, of course, is Bo Schembechler. We must start with the drive, as we call it now, to win that game over Minnesota. Chad Henne, the freshman, taking the team 87 yards in a little over a minute to win that thing. Your thoughts on that young kid doing that in that situation?
I thought that was a shining hour so far in his career, because that was a difficult situation to come that far in so little time. I think he only took a minute and 7 seconds or something like that. And he hit everything he threw. The receivers did a good job of catching the ball and running with it. That was a tremendous drive. That was a great football game to watch, Don.
Yeah, it was. Is this one of those, the kid growing up before our very eyes drives?
I think so. Although I don't know, throughout that game, I thought he demonstrated some real savvy and some confidence. And so I think he's pretty well matured into that quarterback position. Now, he's still a freshman.
Right.
He's still in good shape.
Is he starting to get to the point, and are they giving him more to work with, I guess, that he's just not locking in on Braylon Edwards, that he's able to look around a little more and hit other guys? Avant's playing well, the back, hard out of the backfield. Is that just coming with experience?
Yes, and he's moved that ball around quite a bit. I was really pleased to see him hit Hart several times on there, because that's key. And, of course, Avant, although he didn't get the ball much in the first few games, you and I know he's a wonderful receiver.
Great, great hands. We all know Michigan has had some pretty darn good quarterbacks lately. I'm talking Brian Griese and Elvis Grbac and Drew Henson and Tom Brady. Some are already comparing Henne to what those guys did.
I don't think you can compare Chad Henne to anybody until he's been around here a while. The thing I enjoy as a coach is that he's not intimidated. He doesn't get uptight. He handles the pressure, all the things that come with it. I think his feet are on the ground. And certainly you would have to say that there's incredible promise and potential there if he can just continue to have a great work ethic and he doesn't lose his love for the game.
Well, that's inevitable, isn't it? I mean, the comparisons, fans love to do it. Everybody loves that. I mean, that's going to happen, right? I mean, a kid can handle that,
We all do that.
Yeah.
And I think he compares favorably.
Even a guy who's just played 6 games,
That's right?
You think he compares favorably?
I think he compares favorably.
You're not talking about where those quarterbacks were at their career. You're talking about comparing him now to those guys who have already had those great careers?
No. I'm comparing him to them at this stage in his career. And I think he matches up very well.
Too early to project him as a kid that can rewrite, barring injury, all the records here at Michigan for a quarterback?
Well, he certainly could, because he'll have more opportunity, because he started the very first game of his freshman year. So he's got a lot of opportunity to build up some enormous statistics.
Now, earlier this week, Lloyd was pretty humorous. He was asked about all the turnovers, and that's a problem. Listen as he tries to do the math to figure out how Michigan's average turnovers per game stacks up.
15 turnovers, as I, in my math experience, that comes out to 3 a game. So, or close to it. Not quite 3 a game. What would that be? 5 out of, 6 games. 15. What is that? Come on. No, it's more than 2.5, isn't it? All right, at any rate, it's too many.
What's wrong with his math, man? What's going on?
You know, he used to be a high school teacher. I hope he wasn't teaching math.
It is 2.5, no matter any way you figure it, and he is right when he says it's too many. They've had more turnovers than the other team in a couple games in which they've won, and that's unusual.
Yeah, you're not going to, you turn the ball over, especially you get into games
Purdue,
like Purdue, or down at Ohio State or Michigan State. You turn that ball over like that, you're not going to win.
You know, you said last week, and I asked you flat out, how many yards do you think it would take for Michigan to hold Minnesota to win that game? You said less than 200. You were exactly on in that thing. It's one thing. Yeah. The defense against the run has just been incredible, and they did a terrific job last night.
It was incredible the second half. Now, the first half, I think they had some trouble losing their linebackers too quick, committing too quick, not flowing and filling like they should, and consequently, particularly on the 80-yard run. Now that, you can't do that. But the second half, they adjusted well and played great defense against the run, and that's how they won the game.
Now, one of the best players on that defensive line is Gabe Watson, and he's a big dude, but he's a terrific kid. He is blossoming into a big-time player, and there's a lot less of Gabe than there used to be. He's a funny guy. He'll talk about losing 30 or 40 pounds and how he did it. MSU quarterback Drew Stanton has established himself as clearly the most important player on that team. He's doing everything, even catching TD passes. We'll talk about Drew. And the big Big Ten game today is Wisconsin at Purdue. Bo and I will discuss why Michigan fans should be rooting for Purdue today. That and more coming up on the Big Ten Ticket. Please stay with us.
Channel 7's Big Ten Ticket is brought to you in part by your Metro Detroit Ford dealers. Think Ford first. And by Arby's. What are you eating today?
The Defensive Player of the Week in the Big Ten this past week was Michigan's Ernest Shazor. It's about time someone recognized the importance of this kid because he has gotten significantly better each season and has made a number of huge plays for Michigan this year. He is all over the field. Michigan moves him around to take advantage of his ability. Why does he think he's playing so well?
I think I'm taking this season more serious as last year. Last year I was a junior. I really didn't expect a lot of things, but this year I'm taking things more serious because it's my senior year. I have an extra year, but it's my senior year, so I have to step up and make the young guys better so I can be a leader. That's basically, when you become a senior, Coach Carr expects a lot of things out of you, so I'm just trying to be a leader this year.
He has done that, and another guy you cannot ignore in that defense is Gabe Watson. This kid is a difference maker and improving rapidly. Maybe one reason for his success, he's lost about 30 to 40 pounds. In high school, he weighed almost 370. Now he's in the 330, 340 range and dropping. How did Gabe do it?
Well, I didn't go on a Subway diet, but
As you can see, he's got a pleasant personality, a fun guy who definitely is enjoying the way he's playing and the way the team is going and the way he feels and looks. Here's a more serious answer to how he's losing the weight.
You lose a lot of water weight in 2 days, like real fast. So I'll step on a scale and lose 8 pounds, like, yay. And then come back the next day, like 10 pounds back up, like, So sometimes, because your weight fluctuates so much, you get like kind of down on yourself, things like that. And you feel like you're not only letting yourself down, but the team down as well. But, after you talk to like older guys that had the same problems or, even some of the younger guys and coaches, it's like a family. Everybody help you out about it, and help you out with it.
What a nice young man with a great attitude, and I know you like the way he plays. He is a force in the middle of that line, isn't he?
Well, keep in mind, too, Don, they went to an odd front. Well, when you play an odd front, that's one less defensive lineman between the tackles. Then you better have the guy in the middle hold up so that he doesn't create a bubble. He has to be strong and stout in there. And, of course, this guy, you're not going to knock him back off the ball. And he can move. He can move. He can jump. He can run. I think he's going to be a great defensive lineman.
Is some of that, when you talk about that, because his quickness and whatever, because he has made the commitment to get a little slimmer and to get a little quicker, or is it just experience or maybe a combination?
No, I think he made a commitment to football this year. I think he was a big, nice kid, big teddy bear, laughing, having a good time. And now he got serious about getting his weight down and playing football like he's capable.
We saw Shazor a little bit earlier. Does the offense, for no matter which team Michigan's playing, better figure out where he is on the field, or this guy's going to create some havoc as well?
Well, he will. He's a good tackler, and there are not many safeties back there who are 6'4" and can run and hit like he can. I've not seen any like that. And so there's a lot of potential there. I don't think that he's anywhere near what he can be, because he's going to be an outstanding player.
You know, Illinois is not having a very good season at all. They are 2-4 overall. They are 0-3 in the Big Ten. The Illini, I certainly don't see the Illini winning this game today. They're not a big threat offensively, but not bad. Michigan's defense should contain them, and I don't see how they'll stop Michigan's offense. But the Wolverines have to guard against a letdown.
Anytime you're coming off a big win at home, like Minnesota, I think it's always tough to go out and play, you know, a away game. And that's a challenge, but it's something like that every week. There's always something. And it's a challenge for us just to be able to concentrate on Illinois, learn from our mistakes in Minnesota, and to come out and have a good week of practice, which I think we're going to do.
Anyone can win the Big Ten this year. Anyone could have won it last year. We're always in the race, and we're always in the thick of it. So I think we just take each game seriously. You know, the Big Ten is the Big Ten, and it's a challenge each and every week.
If you are someone who gets distracted either positively or negatively by the things that are said about you or written about you, you're going to have a hard time. You need to keep your feet on the ground and understand, hey, let's go to work today. Let's control the things we can control. Let's not worry about the things that have nothing to do with winning and losing.
Part of that, I think, is everybody's saying that they're going to win this thing. But talk about the ability of this team to be smart enough to not have a letdown against Illinois.
Well, it's easy to say. You know the old saying.
What is that old saying?
Upsets are in the minds of the favorites. If they go down there and start out slowly, turn the ball over, give Illinois a chance, they could dig a hole maybe that they can't get out of. They got enough backs and speed guys that they can put some points on the board. They have done that. Should they beat Illinois? Absolutely. But we have not demonstrated that we're the type of team that goes into a stadium like Illinois, boom, 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 puts 2 or 3 on the board and say, hey, look, this game is ours. The stadium is ours. We're taking it over. We've not done that. Now, if we can go in and do that, we're a superior team to Illinois, and we should beat them. But I'll tell you, football is a mental game, and if we're not ready to play mentally, first of all, you're going to play on a terrible field. So yeah, it's a slippery, lousy playing surface. Yeah. Start with that. Supposing the wind comes in off the cornfield and brings some rain and the weather suddenly gets bad, that's going to work against you because that all favors the underdog. There are a lot of things that can happen. And so what they have to do is to be determined, go in there and say, we're going to take over this game from the very beginning. If they do that, they can discourage Illinois and have control of the game and do what they want. They don't do that, anything can happen.
Concentrate on this one and not be looking ahead to Purdue, right?
Absolutely.
That's a big problem if you do something like that.
That is a big problem if you think you're going to look forward to another game. You'll not play well. You just won't.
Okay, coming up, Bo and I will discuss the Spartans and the Gophers and then get into the really big conference game today, Wisconsin at Purdue. Stay with us. We're back after this. It is the Spartans' turn to see if they can handle Minnesota's offense today, but the Gophers also have to figure out a way to stop Drew Stanton. There's no doubt who the leader on this football team is. It is Stanton. He has hurt teams running, passing, even catching. If they lose this guy and lose this game, they're in trouble. And Stanton knows what he must do today to beat Minnesota.
When we get the ball, we have to make sure we do something with it. We can't just go 3 and out. You know, we need to get our defense a rest because we know when they have the ball in their hands, they're going to do something with it. You know, they're going to chew up some clock.
They're like your leading rushing team in the nation at the top, and it's going to be a tough challenge. You know, we just preparing ourselves the best way we can.
It's going to be a good test for us. We have Minnesota coming here, obviously, and then we get a little bit of a break, trying to regroup before we go down, you know, into the thick of our schedule. So, you know, I think it's real important for us to just continue to improve and, you know, continue to get more comfortable with each other.
You know, I've watched that young man since he was at Farmington Harrison. I think he's just a football player. He doesn't seem to have the strongest arm. He doesn't have the swiftest legs. Doesn't have, but he's obviously very bright, and he gets the job done.
Yeah, he's been a real bright spot for Michigan State without him. There's no telling where that team would be. He's got the potential to be a real good quarterback. And, you know, he's had to come through some real tough things. You can tell he's a football player because they played him on special teams.
Well,
when he
hurt, that wasn't good either.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
That hurt him at the beginning of this year.
But I can see, you know, he's the kind of guy who wants to be in the lineup.
Right. Michigan last week obviously did a good enough job on Maroney and Barber. Can the Spartans defensively do that kind of a have that kind of a defensive effort, or are they going to be in for a long day with those two great backs from Minnesota?
They're going to have trouble holding those two guys. I don't think they can hold them to 200 like Michigan did. Right. I don't think so. And so they're going to have to score. They're going to have to outscore Minnesota because Minnesota's going to put some points on the board. But you know, the Minnesota defense is kind of a vanilla defense. Right. It's not a blitzing. It doesn't throw you for big losses. I can see Michigan State moving the ball very effectively against the Minnesota defense.
If you were Minnesota, would you worry about having a letdown after losing to Michigan in another really close game at the end and then walking into East Lansing to play that game?
Oh, yes. 2 games on the road, and they played the big one on the road and got beat. And then they have to go on the road again and play in East Lansing. Oh, he's going to have trouble getting that team up to play. I really believe it. Yeah. So they'll be vulnerable to Michigan State beating them. I really believe that.
You know, Lloyd Carr on the Big Ten race, Bo and I on the race, and the Badgers-Boilers game. It is huge. It is next on the Big Ten Ticket. Please stay with us.
Channel 7's Big Ten Ticket is brought to you in part by your Metro Detroit Ford dealers. Think Ford first. And by Arby's. What are you eating today?
What I like about the Big Ten Conference right now, with 11 teams, we don't have a championship game. So we don't have to play a game, you know, like these other conferences do. And I think that's in the best interest of everybody. Now, that's going to change here sometime, but so I think we just enjoy what we have.
I think Lloyd's right. If the Big Ten eventually adds a team, then they go to 2 divisions, then they will have a playoff. It'll be way different. As for this week, Lloyd realizes the importance of Wisconsin playing Purdue.
For example, this week somebody's going to fall, and you know, there's a lot of people potentially that could fall. But certainly with Purdue and Wisconsin playing, somebody's going down there, and yet regardless, one loss does not put you out of the race here.
Wisconsin and Purdue. I know everybody in Michigan is rooting for Purdue, and then you figure you can take care of business. How do you see this one?
Wisconsin defense in Davis. That's tough to handle. The front of that Wisconsin defense is as good as there is in the country. Davis is a great back, and he's going to gain some yardage. The question is whether those corners can stand up to the passing attack of Purdue. Ortman is the best thrower in the league.
Kyle, by far.
And the question on Purdue is their defense. They lost a lot of their best players on defense from graduation, and yet that defense has held up pretty well this year. The question is, how good is the Purdue defense against the Wisconsin offense? Because Wisconsin can rush the football. They're very good at it. And so that is going to be a great football game.
How about Wisconsin playing at Ohio State, then coming back and playing at Purdue, knowing they've got, 2 huge games back-to-back on the road for them? That's a pretty tough task to ask the team to do.
Very tough. Although, from a mental standpoint, I'd rather do that than I would play a really tough opponent and then play the next game against one that's not a factor. Yeah, because mentally you won't get up for that second one. But Wisconsin's smart enough to know look, we sell out in this game and we beat Purdue, we're going to win it. We're going to win it because we don't care what Michigan does.
Right.
We're going to win it.
Right.
And so I don't think you have any problem with Wisconsin being up.
How about Kyle Orton as a quarterback, as a Heisman Trophy candidate, as a guy that might lead Purdue to the national championship game? Is this guy, in your opinion, maybe the best quarterback in the country?
I don't know.
Okay, well, that's
well,
honest.
I got to be honest with you.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Sometimes I look at him and I think he's really good. Other times I look at him and says, well, he's okay.
Right.
You know, I don't know. The question is, can they match up with those receivers? I don't think Purdue has the blazing speed and the receivers that they used to have. But, you know, they still got good receivers. They catch the ball.
Right. Forced to pick a winner, you would pick?
I have to pick Purdue.
Yeah, because you want Purdue.
Because I want Purdue to win.
Well, what does your heart tell you?
My heart tells me that Purdue's playing at home and has the best chance to win.
Okay. I'll buy that.
And so I'm picking Purdue on the basis that they have the home field advantage.
All right, I'll go with that. That's it for this week's show. Next week, a biggie for the Wolverines. They're playing at Purdue. Coming up next on Channel 7, Michigan and Illinois, followed by Ohio State at Iowa 3:30. For Bo, I'm Don. Thanks for watching, everybody, and enjoy the games right here on Channel 7.
Add color to wood.
Continuing the tradition.
Here he goes. See you later. And he's got it. Touchdown.
ABC Sports. Championship Television.
Folks, football weather has come to the Midwest just in time for Illinois and Michigan here in Champaign, and some serious tailgating trying to stay warm. Take a look at what's cooking here. Now, would that brisket keep you warm on a day like this or what? We've got a lot of loyal Illini fans. Are you going to finally win a game? Well, folks, they've lost 11 in a row in the Big Ten, but that has not dampened their enthusiasm. And we're off to the races in New York.
They're halfway home, but the question is, who's going to make it to the winner's circle? Will the top-rated Trojans continue to show their championship pedigree as they make the turn for home against unbeaten Arizona State? Can the Longhorns regain their stride after coming up short in their high-stakes duel a week ago? After stumbling out of the gate, will it be NC State or Maryland who keeps their long-shot hopes alive in their conference chase? Will Iowa or Ohio State show that closing kick to come from off the pace in the run for the Rose Bowl? And will Michigan, one of the pace setters in the Big Ten, have the speed and stamina to hold off the Fighting Illini? It's the race we've been waiting for, and down the stretch they come.
This is the Ford pregame. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor with you. As we look towards this game, Michigan Wolverines cannot look past Illinois. They got Minnesota last week. They have Purdue next week. This is a big one for them.
Yeah, you were going to ask me, do you think Michigan's still down or not, right? Yeah, well, I don't know. I think Michigan's one of those teams that every time I see a recruiting list, they're in the top 5 in the country. They always have great recruiting classes. And under Lloyd Carr, Michigan is 14-4 versus top 10 teams. There is no problem at Michigan. Michigan's a great football team, and they've got a great blend of young and old.
Yeah, offensively, they're getting it done with Henne and Hart, freshmen, but on defense, they're getting it done with some older guys. Their safety, Ernest Shazer, big safety, 6'4", leads the team in tackles, likes to play around the line of scrimmage. That guy brings it. Speaking of line of scrimmage, Gabe Watson, their big defensive tackle, doesn't get his name called a lot, but he makes a lot of plays. Look for number 25 and 78 to get it done today.
Before last week, they talked a lot about Minnesota. Michigan got them. People talking about Purdue. Is Michigan really, though, still the team to beat in this conference?
Well, you know, right now, Michigan's a great football team, but Purdue with Kyle Orton, I think Kyle Orton's the difference in this conference right now. He's the best player out there, the hottest player throwing the football, and that's the deal.
I think it's to be determined. There's still a lot of football to be played in the Big Ten. It's going to be interesting. I told you Purdue would make it. So.
All right, we'll see you at halftime. It's all coming up after this message and a word from our ABC station.
The Ford pregame, brought to you by the next Ford Super Duty. Smarter, stronger, tougher. The next Super Duty, built Ford tough. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. watching college football on ABC Sports Championship Television.
The Canadian Express has arrived. The wind is wicked here in Champaign, gusting at 35 miles an hour. The Fighting Illini taking on the Michigan Wolverines. And for the Illini, a long time between victories over its rival from the north. As you check the standings, Michigan, with one eye on the Wisconsin-Purdue game, hopes to continue its drive toward Pasadena and the Rose Bowl. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger with Gary Danielson. You know, if you put this down on paper, looks like a blowout. But let me remind Gary that a week ago, Army finally won a game. Nebraska didn't just lose, they gave up 70 points. And Oklahoma didn't just beat Texas again, they shut them out. So anything can happen here, Mr. Danielson.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that, Brent. How does it happen? And I think what the Illini have to do to this game today is, we all know that football is the ultimate team game. But I think in this game, the Illini must concentrate on winning the individual battles. If you stack up Michigan's whole team against Illinois, there's a huge advantage. But the advantage at each position is much smaller. So if each guy's concentrate on winning his battle, the Illini have a chance to get this in the fourth quarter when anything can happen. Michigan's going to have to help. But I think if they win the individual battles, they have a chance to win the game.
All right, well, let's see what Coach Ron Turner's been telling the Illini this week. Let's go to Jack Arute.
Well, Brent, sometimes motivation can come from the strangest places for the head coach of the Illini. It was when he popped in the CD of Tim McGraw's new tune, How Bad Do You Want It, last Sunday. When he heard the music and the lyrics, he said, it's exactly what my team faces. He handed those lyrics out to his team and asked them, just how bad do you want it today?
How bad do you want it? How bad do you need it? Are you eating, sleeping, dreaming with that one thing on your mind?
That's a lot of football games as an assistant, a defensive coordinator, and a head coach. Lloyd Carr, who before that was an assistant coach right here at Illinois for a couple of years. Lloyd and the Wolverines have won the coin flip, and with the wind gusting up to 35 miles an hour, they defer. That means they want the wind at their back in the fourth quarter of this football game, no doubt. Nienberg will kick it off for Michigan. With the wind blowing the ball off the tee, they'll probably hustle somebody over to hold it. They needed a holder down there even during practice. So Nienberg will bring over one of the wideouts, Tab, and they'll put it down at the 35-yard line with Marcus Mason and Pierre Thomas back deep for the Illini, who will be moving into this wind from the 20-yard line as that kickoff by Troy Nienberg, the senior from Glandorf, Ohio, sails out of the end zone. John Butcher under fire. The coach sat him down this week and made it quite plain. Don't be tentative. He thought that had been his problem. Still hasn't thrown an interception. The backs and receiver E.B. Halsey is injured. We do not expect to see him unless there's an emergency. He is in uniform, and Pierre Thomas becomes the workhorse in this I formation set. Thomas on a sort of botched play gets back and bobbles the ball going down. Michigan indicating, remember, the officials in the Big Ten have been instructed, don't blow the whistle too quickly. There it is on the first play from scrimmage. Illinois turns it over at the 20-yard line, and Michigan recovers. Now, Gary, you take a look at the replay. It's being reviewed upstairs.
Big Gabe Watson just blew that play up. Ball was stripped loose clearly before Thomas came down that time. Michigan forces a turnover. They hadn't had any in 2 games, but Gabe Watson blew the play up, grabbed Thomas. Thomas really never got going again, and from the outside, Shazer comes over and strips that ball.
Shazer recovered the fumble, and it's first down for the freshman phenom now. So Chad Henne under center with Michael Hart, the other freshman sensation, for about 2 yards, 2 or 3 yards. And Chad Henne, the young man from Pennsylvania, what a start he is off to. We'll steal a phrase from Dick Vitale, and without a shadow of a doubt, he's a diaper dandy. But so too is Hart. As we take a look at the outback, backs and receivers. And, folks, they got a guy over there, Braylon Edwards, the leader in the clubhouse as far as the Bolitnikoff Award is concerned. He's just plain dandy. Coming up on second down for Henne and the Wolverines. Here comes Hart looking for the corner. Crosses the 15-yard line to the 14. And that will bring up third and about 4 for the Wolverines as Morris Virgil makes the stop. So Hart was running behind this offensive line. We'll call them the babysitters with the 2 freshmen behind him. David Boss, of course, the wheelhorse, having switched from guard to center, working against this defensive line that has only 6 sacks on the season. Now the linebackers, their leading tackler is Matt Sinclair, number 44. Half of that secondary switch from offense to defense. 4 receivers split away from the offensive line. Henne on that short drop, quick throw, incomplete. And it looks like Illinois has forced the Wolverines to settle for a field goal attempt here with the wind at their back. And here comes the field goal unit for the Wolverines as Garrett Rivas, the sophomore from Tampa, Florida, went to the same high school down there as Jay Feely, who once kicked for Michigan and is now the kicker for the Atlanta Falcons. And Garrett Rivas will attempt to put Michigan ahead. Matt Gutierrez, who did a superb job. One of the little things that was overlooked in that victory over Minnesota. Gutierrez with a great hold on a successful field goal. 31-yard attempt here by Rivas. You're behind the goalpost. You got a great view of it. Ricochet did go across. Wow. Hit the upright, but it counts. 3-0 Michigan with a field goal after the turnover. Michigan 3, Illinois nothing here. And Pierre Thomas back deep. He's the key return man here for the special team. Back with another running back, Marcus Mason, young man from Pontiac, Maryland.
You might have to wait for the wind to change, the quarter to change before him to get one.
I think so. Comes out again now on the 20-yard line. Here is the offensive line, and Duke Preston, whose daddy played defense when Dan Fouts was the quarterback out in San Diego, one of the best in the nation. And we work against this defensive front. And Gary says Gabe Watson's a key man. He blew up the first play of this game. And there are the 4 outstanding Michigan linebackers, and of course one of the premier secondaries in college football, with Ernest Shazer having been the defensive player of the week in the Big Ten for his performance against Minnesota. Now 1 back for Turner. This handoff successful. Thomas to the crease and made about 5 yards on first down. And Preston, the wheelhorse of that offensive line, and we asked him, how can Illinois upset Michigan?
We talk about not giving our opponents anything, and turnovers is going to be a big thing. Being efficient, running the football, and and opening up our pass game a little bit too will be big keys. I think our defense getting off the field in third downs is a big key, and I think us staying on the field in third downs is another big key.
The fullback straight ahead. This will be 3rd down and 4. So 1 turnover, Gary, has already led to 3 points.
Yeah, Duke Preston's going to be the middle of this ground game right there at center. He must at least neutralize Gabe Watson. I mean, he's not going to block him all day. He's got an NFL matchup right there. And at center, you just want to neutralize Watson. So, like that first play, he doesn't cause havoc in the backfield. If he gets a stalemate, 60% of the time, you're going to be successful on offense for Illinois.
Now Preston mentioned 3rd down, so here is one for the offense, trailing by a field goal. Here is 3rd and 3. Can they convert? Mark Kornfeld is the motion receiver. They'll attempt to run for it. No chance. What a stick. Shazer up for the safety spot. What a hitter he's become.
Yeah, you avoided that block by jumping over it. You'll see a lot of coaches say, oh, you got to take it on with your shoulder, but sometimes you just have to be an athlete, and an athlete makes plays. There's Shazer. Watch him jump over the play. Blocker comes out, just comes in, hits the play right there. What a nice play coming from the linebacker spot.
Now Preston's the return man, and this is a low punt. Preston's going to let it roll dead. Michigan will take over on the about 38-yard line. So a little bit of an Illinois roll. They made the most of a weak punt that time by Steve Weatherford. The ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. ADT, America's residential and commercial security leader. And City Business with real live small business specialists on the phone. That's a card you can count on. And that is the alma mater here. Most famous statue on the campus, the University of Illinois. A couple hours southeast of Chicago. Base 4-3 defense here against Chad Henne and the Wolverines. Play fake to Hart. Going to put it up on first down. Hit on the release. Incomplete. Intended for Edwards. And Henne took a lick. And, you know, in talking to Lloyd Carr, we asked him about playing on the road in the Big Ten.
Come out and take the game, control the game, get ahead. I think in some ways that can neutralize the crowds. If you can do that, it certainly makes it a lot easier to communicate.
And it has become easy to communicate. For one thing, the fans are a little bit down here in Champaign, and they've lost 11 consecutive Big Ten games. They're down by 3. Hart stepped to the hole for the Wolverines to the 45, and this will make it about 3rd and 3 coming up with Mike O'Brien making the stop.
You look at what Michigan needs to do to win this football game. You can look at it a number of different ways, but Michigan does well when they spread the field with those receivers and run the ball. Michael Hart, he's become the middle of it. 30 touches through runs and passes, and they can't beat themselves. Don't give the Illini any life, any easy plays.
Here's the 3-pack. Attempt to run for it, and Hart is battling towards the first down marker, the yellow line there on your screen, and the spot looks like it's just a little bit inside that, doesn't it?
Yeah, one linesman has it behind, and this linesman down here I thought had it in front. So let's see which linesman wins, and it does appear to be short, at least the yellow line. I thought Hart kind of fell forward, but we don't know when the whistle blew on the play. Hart has really come on. I mean, he's made a big difference in this offense as he's gained confidence running the ball. His speed has picked up, and you know, those two guys, those two freshmen, you say those two diaper dandies has made this Michigan team for real.
Is that close?
Yep.
Dick Whitvote, our referee here today. So that's what Michael did last week against Minnesota, setting a Michigan true freshman record with 160 yards. And the Wolverines not backing down near midfield now. Chad Henne is strong. One-time javelin thrower, wrestler. He's a muscular quarterback. You would think he'd go right behind Bass here, and he does just exactly that for the first down.
Yeah, he's got Bass and Lentz both over 300 pounds, and he had a little hole to the right, a little bubble to the right that he could take it through. This Michigan line has been reconfigured about 4 times this season. The latest is Reuben Riley, number 72, is in at left guard for Leo Hennege. That's another big guy. Riley, 72, was an offensive tackle. So now you got Bass, Riley, and Lentz all in there. And the big one, a big Jake Long, who goes about 340 at tackle. I mean, they're huge on that Michigan offensive line.
And Long only a sophomore. Someday we can project him over as the left tackle for Michigan. Run the stretch with Hart, and he can't get the corner. The Illinois defense playing pretty well here in the early going as Alan Ball, the sophomore from Detroit, makes the stop. And a reminder, we've got PGA Golf coming your way tomorrow on ABC, 3 Eastern Time. The Chrysler Classic of Greensboro. David Tom is one of those who's on the leaderboard and searching for that victory. So that's at 3 Eastern Time tomorrow here on ABC Sports. 2nd down and long for Henne and the Wolverines.
Usually when Michigan needs to start their offense, to kickstart their offense, they go to number 1.
And one is in motion. Basically the slot man. Henne's got him through beyond him to Avant. So they went past Braylon Edwards, picked up Avant at the 32-yard line, a first down, a gain of 21.
You know, that is really nice coaching by Michigan that time. Braylon Edwards came across the middle of the field and drew the coverage. Braylon goes around, comes right in here, and Avant comes behind. This play was used. There you see Braylon right there drawing the coverage, and a perfect throw by Henne. That play was run continuously last week against Minnesota. Very effective for Avon, having a big game a week ago.
Xavier Fulton, the talented freshman defensive end from Flossmoor, Illinois, checks in for the Illini. They're trying to generate any kind of a pass rush. You can see that Henne has all time. Throws to Edward, jump ball, battles for it, got it, touchdown. Another great catch by Braylon Edwards, the young man who is well on his way to the Biletnikoff Trophy as the nation's leading receiver. What a pair of hands.
Flag on the play. It's going to come back. You can almost count that as a big play for the Illini.
I'd say.
Because that's changing the clock, the scoreboard there. How calm is Braylon Edwards when that ball is in the air?
During the play, holding, number 77. Offense, 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
That's Big Jake. Let's take another look at this, because even though it's called back, what a splendid catch, Gabe.
And he does not panic. He has great confidence when the ball in the air. He's got Hayden on him, the ex-receiver, and just Braylon, watch it. He holds it one hand. Watch this. He just lets go, holds it with his free hand. He knows he has it, gets bumped from the back from Justin Harrison, and still holds onto that ball one hand. About as good as you can get.
You say that again. Doesn't count. He'll take it. And here's Hart. Pushing across the 35-yard line. And, John, how about Kansas State and Oklahoma? That was the Big 12 title game a year ago. What's going on?
Brent, exactly. The Taco Bell update. Revenge on the mind of Oklahoma, but starts off a lot like last year. Dylan Meyer to Jermaine Morera. 29 yards down to the 1-yard line. And then Darren Sproles, his 40th career touchdown rushing. And that ties the school record.
And John, and K-State a huge underdog in that game at home. Oklahoma maybe a little let down after their great performance against Texas. We shall see. It's early in that baby, like it is here. Henne again has all day. And he threw a bad pass. Looked like Braylon was wide open there.
Very interesting play. Michigan had run a lot of stutters and takeoffs a week ago and 2 weeks ago against teams getting Braylon deep. That time they went stutter and stop. Henne anticipated a little bit too much and missed him.
Okay, let me bring up a point, because you're the quarterback who can answer this. Throwing with the wind's not as easy as we make it sound.
You know what's tough, Brent, is throwing sideways to the sideline with the wind.
Like
throw
that.
over the middle, it's not as tough.
Just like that, he went to the sideline.
Because the ball carries, like, you know, playing golf, it becomes a side wind by throwing to the sideline.
Third down for Henne. Deep drop. That time he got his man. First down across the 20-yard line, and there was Avan again, the control man.
Yeah, he's coming on. And I'll tell you what Michigan is doing lately as they've gained more confidence in Chad Henne. They're willing to throw the ball between the numbers in the middle of the field. We're going to sync it up for you here. Watch Henne get back. Ball is in. Ball's on the way right there. Hits him right in the numbers. When you're willing to throw the ball over the middle of the field, you can get those easy crossing routes, and that's easy to throw into the wind or downwind.
Now Chris Norwell back in as a defensive lineman. The Illini desperate for a pass rush. Henne, end zone, and had Avon, and I think we can say conclusively that the wind is bothering Henne.
All of the ones he's thrown to the sideline, he's had the trouble with the ball going on. He had Braylon Edwards wide open on a post that time, but it kind of made up his mind he was going to throw the post corner on the play. Michigan, you can see the confidence they have in their passing game. I mean, I think if you came into this game looking at Illinois, the number of yards they've given up, they were going to run the ball, but they're throwing it so far today.
Coach Fred Jackson said he was going to use the other freshman, Max Martin, as a running back. Here he is right now. He's the lone running back. Michigan fans aware of the name. There's the draw. There's Martin. Martin across the 15-yard line. Good look at this young man. And Martin is from Madison, Alabama.
Another true freshman. He and Michael Hart. And what they say about Martin, last night we were talking to some of the Michigan people. He's so young, he's still running with both hands on the football. He doesn't want to make a mistake. When he loosens up, you're going to see the true Mike Martin right there. Max Martin. How about that? Two true freshman running backs breaking into this line.
Third down. Hart back on. Needs 6 for the first here. Dudley, the lead man. Hart to the middle, crashes across the 5 and almost into the end zone. The one thing that impresses me perhaps the most about Hart is yards gained after contact. again. He got past that first wave, and watch him.
Jake Long had the holding penalty, but watch Jake Long come over here and pull on this play and make a play. A tackle pull, 340 yards, fits it on the big linebacker, Matt Sinclair, and a sprint to the end zone. When you have 340 pounds coming at you at linebacker, a tackle pull, that makes that play go.
Now Max Martin, can he get his first score? Going to give it to him. Dives in for the touchdown. Max Martin, a man from Alabama. And that's got to be a thrill.
Well, it's just so much offense that Michigan comes at you with. You know, are they going to throw deep? Are they going to go with crossing routes? Are they going to go behind these big 300-pound linemen? This time they bring in another running back behind their maybe the best blocking fullback in the Big Ten, Kevin Dudley. Just so many different options that the Illini defense just doesn't know where to try to stop the offense.
There's the holder and Revis the kicker. That extra point dead on, and it's 10-0 here in the first quarter. 6:45 to go. The Illini, they got to get something going. Well, again, Nienberg puts the ball on the tee, and look back at Max Martin, the young man who was born in 1986 down in Alabama. He had a brother by the name of Dexter who played football in Northern Michigan. And that's where Lloyd Carr transferred from Missouri, of course, and another kickoff sails out of the end zone. Gary, let's take a look at our Chrysler passing playbook.
Well, we're going to accomplish two things here for the Michigan fans. Yes, there was holding on the play if you wanted to see that. And let's take another look at Braylon Edwards as he does it like no one else does it. There's the takedown by Jake Long to the top. And catch it at the top, one-handed. No one's better at that. You know, Mike Williams over at USC, they say can do it, but I don't think he can do it as well as Braylon Edwards.
And after the penalty, Michigan comes back and
especially
gets the touchdown. Yeah, I agree. With Max Martin. Here's the Butcher's first pass of the game on the slant, deflected, and it is incomplete against that Michigan defense now, which gets a chance. And Leon Hall, the corner, who has moved in as a starter, and he looks outstanding. They just simply throw away from number 3, Marlon Jackson. No one challenges him. And in fact, they go at Leon, the sophomore from Vista, California, and he has stood very tall so far. Second down and 10. Swing, first completed pass for nothing with Shazer all over the field.
Yeah, you look at what Illinois has to do in this game, and Butcher has to have a big football game for them, I believe, to stay in the game. Win defensively 60% of third down. They have been brutal in third down defense this year, and 3 big plays. We're going to give them 1 big play already, the penalty on the touchdown, but they need 3 big plays somewhere in this football game to stay in it. You know, on that play, you remember you said he's got to be more aggressive? He had the curl play on Jackson on that last throw, and he settled for the halfback. That's what Ron Turner's talking about, the quarterback.
Third and long, extra defensive back.
Oh, wow.
And,
curious call.
And the crowd found it extremely curious, and a chorus of boos echoing throughout Memorial Stadium. Pierre Thomas, the sophomore from Linwood, getting the call, and it's back to the sideline for the Illini offense, and Michigan will get it here again.
Well, third and long, and Michigan is known for their great nickel defense, but it's tough to beat them by giving up on third down.
Steve Weatherford, the punter, that last one was very low. He spins this one, and that was what he was practicing, and it goes out of bounds. He was moving it from right to left during practice. Didn't want it out of bounds, but it did bounce out just across midfield. Well, Monday night now, we'll take you down for the Bucks and, of course, the St. Louis Rams. And the starting quarterback for Tampa Bay, Mr. Brian Griese, won a national championship for these Michigan Wolverines. But the Illini represented on that same roster, tight end Ken Dilger and Simeon Rice. So it'll be the Buccaneers. I'll tell you, the Rams had what a win that was against Seattle. They came off the deck in that game. They were explosive.
Yeah, people had already been calling into the talk shows in St. Louis. They were on hold.
They were on hold.
Yeah.
Here comes Michigan now. The play fake, bootleg right, drops it in underneath, and across midfield on first down.
And that Massacoy was the receiver. And what about Jake Long working here as a tackle, Jack?
Well, Brent, everybody may be a bit surprised that even Jake Long is playing when you consider that he had a close call this past summer. He and some of his football teammates awoke to smoke and fire in their 3-story apartment house. Long's exit was blocked by smoke, so what did he do? He belly flopped out of the 2nd-story window onto his teammate Patrick Sherrow's Ford Bronco. Spent a couple days in the hospital for smoke inhalation, but he's okay now.
Yeah, Jake was okay. How was the Bronco? There's a handoff on the delay now to Hart. Hart across the 45-yard line. Jake is going to be an outstanding line.
Yeah, let me talk a little bit about Jake. Jake in the Michigan area comes up northern suburbs, and people I've talked to said that he's a better athlete than John Runyon, the longtime tackle that's now in the NFL, and a basketball player, great feet, and you see his size. I mean, he's a future NFL, player that Michigan's going to have there for 3 more years.
Let me talk about the offensive line as a whole. When you look at them from Michigan, they all played high school basketball, high school baseball. They are very athletic. They recruit athletes as well as offensive linemen. And here is Hart stuffed behind the offensive line that time. An aggressive play by the Illini defense that time on 3rd and short. Mike Maloney, the senior from Joliet Catholic, an outstanding high school program south of the Chicago area.
That's the 2nd time they've been kind of stuffed on 3rd down. I mean, for as big and strong as they are, if there has been a criticism of them is they do not blow people off the ball. They've been more athletic, better draw players, trap players, but they have not been able to root people out up there like most would expect.
Now let's see what Adam Finley can do with the wind at his back. Yeah, into the end zone and coming on out of the 20. So we'll get another look at Big Gabe. Number 78 trots out onto the field. And Gary asked him what he enjoys most in a football game.
I love trying to get after the quarterback and things like that. It's tough, in the middle. Sometimes you get doubled and triple teamed and cut here and there, but it's fun to hit quarterbacks. You don't get to hit them in practice. The guys run around and Coach Carter, hey, stay away, stuff like that.
Great. Does he remind me of Keith Jackson? Remember that tight end came out of Oklahoma and played in the NFL in the face? Man, I just happened to notice that on the screen. 1st down and 10 now for Butcher and the Illini. They're looking for something good to happen here. Not this time. I mean, the middle of that defense, that time the linebacker, McClintock.
Yeah, that's why those Michigan linebackers love Gabe Watson, because he just blows up the play. Coming inside, watch him get back into the sideline, forces the guy to bounce out wide. And there's the linebackers cleaning it up. Even Gabe spins out of it and is going to be there if that tackle's missed. When you have a guy up front like that, I don't ever remember a Michigan defensive lineman like this as long as I've been watching it. It makes everybody else better.
2nd down and 13. Deep drop. Butcher sets the screen pass this time. Got a block. Got the corner. Stayed in bounds. Jason Davis, the fullback, the junior from the St. Louis area, Lindbergh High School. Good receiver slipping out. Coach Turner has always liked to use the fullback in his repertoire. Those short passes, looping and swinging out. And now comes one of those big moments here for Illinois. Here comes that key statistic that we talked about both offensively and defensively. Here is another 3rd down for the Illini. Kendrick Jones, their possession man, splits far out to the right. 2 tight ends in this formation. I formation fullback. Preston identifies the D. And here comes Thomas for the 1st down easily. Out to the 40-yard line. Pierre Thomas, the sophomore, and the Illini move the chain.
Well, the Illini offense has been doing a good job all year. They're 3rd in the Big Ten in converting 3rd down. You can see it. Everybody slides down to the outside. Roy Manning gets sucked in a bit that time. He's the guy that really busted. He should have forced that back into his help. Michigan played it very conservatively. They don't believe the Illini can drive the length of the field on them.
The Illini with 2 more minutes moving into the wind. Quick flare outside now to Kendrick Jones, his first reception, and the young man from East St. Louis starts to move the ball. And now Illinois getting just a little more confident on offense here behind Butcher. This by far their most impressive drive. Again, they're moving into a 25-mile-an-hour wind, and our snapshot is of Kendrick Jones here, Gary.
One of those guys does a lot of things, He's a little bit of a possession receiver, but did catch 6 balls against UCLA and scored.
Using motion, go to the one back, running Thomas out of it, gashes up the middle, breaks free, cross the 40-yard line for a 1st and 10. And the Illini fans with something to cheer here, finally. Trailing 10-0 and moving into that wind.
The individual battles up front. That time Duke Preston won his battle in the middle. And Pierre Thomas, who had 188 last week, you can see it. Big Gabe gets taken out from the side that time. Number 64, Martin O'Donnell coming in. The freshman gets Thomas, and Thomas falls forward. He's a power back. 188 last week against Michigan State.
Marcus Curry replaces Hall on the corner for Michigan. Here's Thomas, bangs across the 35-yard line. And so he is carrying the load here at running back because E.B. Halsey, the sophomore from Elizabeth, New Jersey, out with an injury, could play in case of an emergency. But Pierre, and he's their all-purpose yardage leader because he's a fine kickoff return man also. So he'll perform double duty, although half of the time he's going to get no chance to return a kickoff because, as Gary pointed out, the ball's just going to sail out of the end zone when they're kicking from left to right. Now, Butcher under center, 2nd down across the 35-yard line, and that's Franklin Payne in motion. And Thomas was stopped in the backfield, and that was Pierre Woods who blew that play up. Let's check in with Jack.
Well, Brett, last year Thomas suffered a calf bruise that eventually led to having part of his calf actually removed from his body. He said during the rehab, though, he was able to gain some weight. He says now, instead of darting and diving, I like to run over guys.
So we've come to the end of the quarter, and Illinois will have the wind at its back for the 2nd quarter. Michigan took good advantage of that wind and a turnover. As a result, they lead the Illini 10-0 at the end of the 1st quarter.
Football on ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
So we start the 2nd quarter with Illinois facing a 3rd and 4. The ball is across the 35 at about the 33-yard line here. And the Illini with that 25-mile-an-hour wind now at their back. They send 2 receivers out far to the right, bring the motion man back toward the tackle, and now Butcher will flare. And Thomas did not get the 1st down. Short of it. Well, you know, Gary, you and I have joked about football season here. We pick up the News-Gazette here in Champaign. Banner 100 years of Illini basketball. The new scoreboard about to be debuted. 30 minutes at the conclusion of this game. Big workout over here at Assembly Hall for the basketball
Not
team.
the way it's supposed to be when Michigan's in town, is it?
I know.
When you lose 11 straight Big Ten games and you haven't beat Michigan, you know, for a long time, you talk basketball, right?
They got a great basketball team here, folks. That's the good news about the Illini, but they've lost 11 consecutive.
Turner's going to go for it here.
4th down and short, down 10. Why not, I guess. And they're going to call a timeout. So we will take a break.
John Saunders back in New York, Oklahoma, and Kansas State. K-State had the lead 7-0, but Jason White, 17 yards to Travis Wilson. The point after is good, and the game is all tied up at 7 apiece. By the way, Brent, I don't know what you call that thing on your head. Where I'm from in Canada, it's a toque. Looks pretty good, though, and warm.
John, you know all about it. We got the Canadian winds blowing in here from the north. Man, it's a Canadian Express. Keeps me warm up here.
A toque.
4th and short. John, before the day's over, my friend. 4th down. Going for it with Pierre Thomas, and he is jammed. Right side of the defensive front for Michigan, led by Roy Manning.
Boy, Roy Manning took on a blocker, then took on the tailback right after that. 2 players right at the point of attack. You expect to win when you're on offense, when you get 2 guys on 1 linebacker like that. What a play by Manning. Watch that. Fullback hits him. Here comes Pierre. He takes on 1, takes on the 2nd, and stuffs it. Boy, Jason Davis goes 220 pounds. Thomas is close to 200 pounds, and he stops both of them. What a play by Manning.
Michigan takes over on its own 30-yard line, moving into that win, leading by 10. Here's Hart cutting away from Dudley across the 30-yard line. Well, the Big Ten wide open as Wisconsin and Purdue, 2 unbeaten, start later today on ESPN2 and on ABC at 3:30. It's Ohio State at Iowa. Okay, what about the Buckeyes? Do you think they can snap that 2-game losing streak over there at Iowa?
Iowa's very nicked up. Drew Tate has been hotter since we've seen him. He's growing into that position. I just got to believe Ohio State's going to find their game sooner or later. And this week it's going to be tough, but I think Ohio State's going to get them this week.
Need a couple of sets, don't you, a little bit later in the day to watch both those games. And here is Henne in trouble, incomplete, and it will be 3rd down. Well, time for this week's Aflac trivia question. Now, if Kelvin Hayden, who is number 6, leads the Illini in interceptions, he has 2 already this year, what distinction will he achieve here with the Fighting Illini? Kelvin Hayden, a year ago, receiver, and now he's a starting corner. Wears number 6, and we're very impressed with the progress that he has shown. Right defensive corner. He's the short side of the field. Here he is, 3rd and 7. Preston's on his side, and he'll pick up Hayden, who was blitzing that time. They drop it off to Hart, and Hart stepped for the 1st down, and he's got it. And John, what's going on with the Georgia Bulldogs?
Brent, as you know, they're coming off that loss last week. Big disappointment at Vanderbilt. And that's not good for Vanderbilt. 12 yards. Thomas Brown drags his man into the end zone as the Bulldogs now lead it 7-0. Brent, back to you.
All right, John, you have some good matchups around the country. That one doesn't figure to be close, just like this one here with Michigan's a huge favorite.
How about Hart already has 11 touches in this football game? You can see what type of go-to player he is for the Michigan offense.
And Max Martin gives him a little bit of a break. Martin scored the touchdown. 1st and 10. Here is Martin. Swinging, tries to get the shoulders turned. And he is down at the 42-yard line that time. Kowalik.
Well, Matt Sinclair is the Illini leading tackler on this football team. Outside linebacker, has never beaten Michigan. Been here a while, and we're going to watch him all day. Perform his track, how he blitzes, how many times he's in pass coverage, how he's stopping the run. One of the key guys did a good job in that last play, just spreading that play out and letting it be stopped.
Braylon Edwards goes off now to the right. He'll match up. Charles Bailey is the defensive back on that side. Hart back in. Preston, the motion receiver. And he wants to set the screen, and Hart dropped it that time. Turned to run a little bit too quickly that time. He had the reception, but he was looking downfield.
Yeah, a little screen pass on 3rd and long. Michigan got the screen pass for the 1st down. You see Illini that time, even with the 3 receivers, Illinois stays with their 3 linebackers and blitzes. Michigan has given up 17 sacks this year. That's the worst in the Big Ten. They're tied with Iowa. So you can see that Henne will hold the ball, and he is sackable.
Illinois, under a former Michigan player, Mike Mallory, now the defensive coordinator, continuing to shuttle in defensive linemen, trying to keep freshmen on the field. Penalty flag is thrown at the snap. Henne fires high, and busted tackle against Preston. There's Sinclair. Gary was talking about him, drove him out of bounds, but there is a penalty marker on the play, and it was thrown at the snap.
Boy, that had to be lined up offsides. That's one of those self-inflicted wounds. You got to stop there, forcing Michigan to punt, and you get an offsides penalty just by lining up improperly.
Offside, defense, number 42. 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, 3rd down.
Redshirt freshman.
Yeah, Kevin Mitchell, one of their nickel backs that came in, lined up as a linebacker, as faking a blitz, because Illinois was in a zone look that time. He was faking the blitz, just put his foot on the line, and gives Michigan another chance.
3rd and 3.
And again, where do you stop? You look at the tight ends. Is it going to be Ecker? Is it going to be Braylon out here? Is it going to be Avant coming behind him? A lot of different options.
Avant makes it 3 wide on the same side. All 3 of them over there. Henne rolls hard in that direction. Hit on the release. Incomplete. Good Illini defense that time as Gowalik, the linebacker, puts the pressure on.
Good job by that secondary that time for the Illini. Also, they blew up the play. They hit the receivers. Michigan was trying to do one of their rub plays, but it was blown up by being very physical in the secondary, and Henne had nowhere to go.
So Spencer Jensen, number 17, is back to return this punt. He's a redshirt freshman from Homer Glen with E.B. Halsey out. Pressure on. Not an easy day to be fielding these punts. And the Finleys will bounce and out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Illinois with 12 minutes to go with the wind at its back, down by 10. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Pontiac and the first ever G6, the next official performance machine of the NCAA. Aflac, ask about it at work, and Singular Wireless. That's the English building here on the University of Illinois, down there on the quad. This is English, of course. And this is a wonderful school down here in Champaign, by the way.
Well, Butcher's got off to a nice start. 4 for 5, did that against the wind, keeping his team in the football game, not making any mistakes.
2 wides. Good fake to Thomas. And broken up on that far side beautifully by Leon Hall, who's back on the field. Good play by Leon.
Well, you know, where you get the ball often determines what your possibility of scoring. When you get the ball backed up, you're only going to get a score about 26% or 27% of the time. And look at this. The whole season, the Illini have not started from the 20 in. No big turnovers from their defense to make it easy. Not one try inside opponent's 20-yard line all year.
2nd down and 10. Here's Butcher. Offensive line does a good job. Throw was high, but caught for a first down across the 35-yard line. And John, how about Kansas State? Did they bounce back on Oklahoma?
Brian, Oklahoma did not give up a point to Texas last week, as you know, but it doesn't seem to bother K-State. Dylan Myers, Yamin Figure, who spins into the end zone for a touchdown. 2nd TD of the day for Kansas State and a 14-7 lead. Back to you, Brian.
All right, thanks, John. And Mark Kornfeld has just given Illinois a first down, and that's his first reception of the game from the 14-yard.
And 70% of the time when he catches the ball, it is for a first down. A possession receiver that usually gets the first.
Stretch fake again. Butcher under pressure, going to drop it back off to the running back. And he is swarmed just short of the 40-yard line. Well, let's go back to that Aflac trivia question. We ask you if Kelvin Hayden leads the Illini in interceptions this year, what distinction will he achieve? Well, the answer is he'd be the first Illinois player ever to lead the team in receptions one year. He did it a year ago with 52, and in interceptions the next. And so Kelvin Hayden, very versatile player, and some of the scouts who've watched him said he was a little bit tentative against UCLA in the early going, but now he's developing into a pretty good defensive back. 2nd down here for the Illini. Butcher needs 7 yards to move the chains. Wind at his back. Again, that offensive line doing well. Going to go deep. And there's a penalty, no question. That is 15 yards and a first down. Kendrick Jones working against Leon Hall. And, you know, in some ways, Gary, I hate to say this, but in some ways that might have been a good penalty over there on that side. There's only a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, in a college game, it is a 15-yarder. Of course, the NFL, that would be at the spot. John Butcher waits a little too long to let this ball go. It's a slightly underthrown, and that forces Leon Hall to grab him right at the end of the play. And Kendrick Jones better be careful. He really played it to the referee, and he has to be careful not to get called for overly being dramatic about this call. He just keeps doing it and doing it and doing it. He has to be careful.
Would it have been a touchdown?
I don't know if it had been a touchdown, but he would have caught it and had an opportunity to run afterwards and maybe gain more yards.
So with Gary Danielson and Jack Root, I'm Brent Musburger. We welcome you to Champaign, Illinois. The Illini, they've lost 11 consecutive Big Ten Conference games. Remember, just a few years back, they were the conference champions. struggling, trailing the unbeaten Wolverines by 10. 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. Butcher on 1st and 10 for the Illini. Again has time, throws underneath, complete to his running back, Thomas. And John, what about Michigan State against Minnesota, my friend?
Brett, Minnesota trying to hold off what would be back-to-back losses after losing to Michigan last week. Drew Stanton to Eric Knox. Second time in this game, 36 yards, touchdown. The defense of Minnesota looked terrible. 28 points already, and they just barely started the second quarter. Brett.
Wide open. Wow, the woolly, Gary.
Michigan State is coming on. Drew Stanton has made them a whole different football team, and the Michigan coaches told me that they felt they could throw the ball against Minnesota. It's true.
Second down here for the Illini. They go back in the power I. Looked like there was movement. Big Gabe in the middle of that line. Thomas straight ahead. I believe he stopped short of the first down. But did your friend Big Gabe move on that one, Gary? I couldn't tell.
I don't know who it was. Somebody might have moved. It might have been Alex Ofili that time, in the middle of that time. But you know what? This is really a sandwich game for Michigan, Brent.
Absolutely.
I mean, they had Minnesota last week, Purdue next week. They need easy plays. If Illinois can play them tough and Butcher can keep like that, 7 for 9, have one of his best games.
Defense, number 93, 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, second down.
They can stay in this football game. That's what they got to do. Stay in the football game, and they have a chance to win.
Now, here is the schedule Gary referred to a week ago, the big dramatic comeback. Now you're well over a 3-touchdown favorite here in Champaign. Now you go down and you've got to play Purdue next week. And so what he calls it, describes it, and an apt description of a sandwich game. Some of us say it might be a look-ahead game.
Right.
The coaches don't. They try to get the youngsters focused, but they're human. And there's a first down for Illinois as Davis, the fullback, goes right straight ahead. Well, our Pacific Life game summary, and would you believe it? The first snap of the game, the Illini had trouble. They turned it over, and as a result, the Wolverines got on the board. Max Martin got the touchdown. The field goal followed the turnover, and then it was the Martin touchdown, and it was 10-0. The Wolverines on that drive, in case you missed it, had a touchdown pass to Braylon Edwards called back because of holding, but they scored on the drive anyway. Thomas, great run. He spun right off the defender that time as Joey Sorrentos, the senior, could not bring him down.
One of the real dynamics of the Illinois offense, remember, John Butcher led the Big Ten in passing 2 years ago, in 2002, is that they throw to a lot of different players. Brent mentioned it. They'll use the fullback, the tight ends, the running backs. 14 different players have caught passes this year for Illinois. The quarterback's the key. Butcher has to come through and have the big game. He's a sixth-year senior. He has to come through.
He's 7 of 9, throwing for the 10th time. Mickey made of 10. Wide open using the fullback. Gary referred to it. And there is a big play in the Turner playbook. It's simply loop the fullback out. That's for 13 yards, Gary. There's your play.
He kind of submarines through. This is a West Coast offense play. He'll line up over here and sneak under the formation with the action going the other way. Watch him sneak under, behind the line of scrimmage. Direction going one way, throw back the other way. That's an easy play. That's that West Coast offense that Ron Turner features here.
Zach Gray checks in as one of the tight ends. He's a sophomore for the Illini. This is a big, big drive in this football game. If the Illini can finish this off, trailing by 10. And Thomas slashes, steps outside, found the hole. Beautiful run. First down, out of bounds at the 7-yard line. That was terrific vision on Thomas's part. It was clogged inside, and watch him step to the outside.
Absolutely. Watch when he comes up into the line this time. He's reading the block by the center, and he watches it, and when he stops right here, now what do? Do you come inside or do you bust it outside? Watch his vision. He says, I can get outside. Sets up the blocker, goes to the outside, and then delivers the blow at the end of it. That's that big size running back and why he's really gaining yards today.
Here's the power I. Davis is the fullback. Play fake. Butcher rolling, throws underneath to the fullback again, but Michigan was ready for that play. And he's thrown out of bounds at the 3 by Shazer.
You know, but still a positive play. You know, he didn't throw it away. He didn't get sacked. He got 1 or 2 yards and kept the pressure on Michigan. Butcher again, I mean, having one of those days exactly the way Ron Turner said he had to come through today.
couple of tight ends now check into the game. Future with the play from the Turner sideline. Second down. Here's Thomas behind the middle of that. Sort of slow to develop that time. You could see Thomas was looking for a little bit of a crease, and that leaves him with a little bit of a third down. And sometimes they've been able to slash inside against this goal line defense of Michigan. It's going to be tough. Probably a little more running room to the outside against the Wolverines. We'll see what they come up with here.
Michigan did a nice job last week in stopping the outside run game of Minnesota. I think on film, maybe the Illinois coaches said, you know what, they've shored up the outside. Let's try to run off tackle, and there was nothing there.
They went to the double tight on second down.
Yeah, that was
now they throw
tough
in
yards
wide
from that far.
receivers. I agree. And so we're going to have a timeout call by the Illini. They're going to try to regroup. A huge sequence in this football game with Michigan up by 10.
John Saunders back here in New York. Oklahoma trailing Kansas State for the second time in the game. And for the second time in the game, Jason White finds Travis Wilson. This one 14 yards. The Sooners have even the score. Brent.
All right, John, 10:27 left in that game, 7:31 left in this game, and a key third down here for the Illini. Third down and goal for Future. Thomas goes in motion. Future's going to throw. Got it. Touchdown, Illinois, as Pierre Thomas comes out of the backfield and makes the reception, and the Illini climb back in it with the wind at their back.
Michigan was in man-to-man coverage. They ran a rub play. 2 receivers picked, and you get the running back coming behind. I'll bet that was one of Illinois' 2-point plays that they used in this situation, because that was a rub play, a little pick to the outside that worked.
Here's Rita on for the extra point. Matt Minnis put it down for him, and it's a 3-point game. Every point so far has been scored with the wind at the back. And Thomas slips out his first receiving touchdown of the season. And let's check in with Jack.
Well, Gary's talked about it. Brent, you've talked about it. What is it going to take to turn around the fortunes here at Illinois? I asked Ron Turner that very question, and he said, Jack, it's about getting over the hump. And then he said it could be a third down conversion. It could be a play in the passing game. He said it could be a defensive stop. Gee, in the last couple of minutes, they've accomplished all of that, haven't they?
They sure have. 10-7 right here, Jack, with 7:27. What do the numbers show us, Gary?
Yeah, and remember we said individual battles, and right now, Butcher is winning the individual battle. He's 10 for 12. Not a lot of yards, but he's protecting the football and giving that man an opportunity to call whatever he wants. They've run 15. They've thrown 12 times. He can do whatever he wants because his quarterback is protecting the ball.
Well, it's time now for the Pontiac High Performance Drive summary. 77 yards, 11 plays, and they consume 441 with the wind at their back. And now Chad Henne and the Wolverines will go back to work, and Future with a much more positive look on his face this week. He's been yanked from a couple of games, was bewildered. Folks around here feel that Turner finally laid it on the line. He said to him, "You have been tentative. Don't be tentative. Let it rip." That was the one-on-one conversation that we know about, because Turner told us that it took place. And Future, as Gary has told you, has a lot of talent. Started at Iowa. He's in his 6th year, and he has the Illini within a field goal right now. Steve Weatherford's the kickoff man, and he booms it out of the end zone. Chad Henne of the Wolverines will come out from the 20-yard line. Well, Gary, let me ask you about Wednesday. This show 8 Eastern Lost. You tell me that's pretty good. That's worth looking at.
You know, it's a little X-Files and a little Survivor Island all mixed into one, and it's definitely TiVoable. Is that a word?
It is now.
Well, Chad Henne is wanting to get a little TiVo highlights going right now. Let's see what the Michigan offense, Terry Malone, the coordinator, is going to let him do with a tight football game against the wind.
He's 4 of 11 throwing the ball. They run with Hart. Huge hole on the right side. And Hart explodes to the 45-yard line, 25 yards for the freshman from Syracuse.
What a read that time. That ball could have gone anywhere along the line of scrimmage. He's following Dudley. Big Dudley, who's a great leader for this football team. He gets the connection, gets the block inside on the middle linebacker, Gwalik, and then broke outside, Michael Hart does. And what a difference a great running back makes. Quick snap here by Michigan.
They move up quickly under center. Here it comes. Stretch Hart, and he was attempting to cut back, but was swallowed at the line of scrimmage, and it will be 2nd and 10. Is Anthony Thornhill out of Detroit Central. Grew up a huge Michigan fan, and when it came time to be recruited, the Wolverines said, would you walk on? And he said, but Illinois offered me a full scholarship. Thanks, but no thanks. And he headed off to Champaign. So that's how Thornhill, cousin of Josh, came to be a member of the Fighting Illini. 2nd down and 10.
Only 3 of 10 first downs have been for 4 yards or more.
Edwards comes in motion. Henne looks in underneath the Dudley, the fullback, and Dudley rumbles across the 45-yard line for a first down.
Well, Michigan started this drive from the 20, and you can see they only score around 22% of the time when they get it between the 21 and 40. But look at this. When they get inside the 50, only 38% of the time. That's a very low number to start over midfield and only get 2 touchdowns 38% of the time. And, of course, look at that. 6 opportunities with the ball inside the 20-yard line to start a drive.
Tabb, Gonzalez, and Ecker all check in from the Wolverine sideline. Chad Henne on the draw. Here is Hart. Hart runs away from the tackle to open field. 25, 20, run out of bounds at the 16-yard line by Virgil, but he broke a tackle early in the run. And this young diaper dandy is showing us something new with every game. This was a great run.
Watch him just follow number 77, just walled down. Big number 77 walls down. Tyler Ecker, the big tight end, walls down. Dudley gets his block on the play. Why not follow Long, Ecker, and Dudley? You don't have to be anything but a freshman to know to follow those 3 guys.
Justin Harrison forced into the starting lineup. Couldn't make the tackle for the Illini. And this time Hart is stuffed at the 15-yard line. He's in the starting lineup, Harrison, because Travis Williams, injured today, is out of the game. So the freshman from Bloomington, Illinois, who has played pretty well back there, he had a shot at Hart on that run and couldn't bring him down. It'll be 2nd down for the Wolverines.
Well, when Michigan's offense, you know, Brent, we saw Ohio State last week, and they had trouble running the football. It's a running back a lot of time that makes plays that look like nothing into something. Look at the defense Michael Hart has made in this Michigan run game.
Now Rimbert. Pierre Rimbert is in as the Wolverine running back. And Henne firing, incomplete. Intended for Edwards and broken up by Alan Ball.
Well, I'll tell you, St. Martin de Porres, these 2 guys faced each other. They know, same neighborhood from Detroit, Michigan. Alan Ball comes across, gets to the inside of that play and gets his arm about. Good job by Alan Ball. He was a 100-meter state champ in Michigan when he came out playing corner for the Illini. That was a tough matchup because usually Braylon does his body and shields it. That time he got around in front of him.
Here's 3rd down. Wolverines need 9 for a first down. From the Illini 16-yard line. Henne back, throws, intercepted in the end zone. Picked off by Harrison. And the young man who missed on the tackle coming down the sideline. And he is out of bounds across the 30-yard line. That is a 72-yard interception return by the freshman as Chad Henne serves up another turnover.
A zone pass play this time. Illinois had everybody looking right at it. I think Chad Henne thought Braylon Edwards was going to go in front of the safety. Braylon decided to go behind it. The ball was already thrown. And then all of a sudden, the true freshman hits a freebie, basically. Watch. Chad Henne believes he's going to go in front of this guy. He ends up going behind him. The ball is thrown. Watch this. Zone cut. He believes Braylon's going to go in front. Braylon just stops on his route and goes behind, and that's what caused the interception. Miscommunication. When you try to do those read routes, bad things can happen.
Future under center. Thomas, the running back. Illini down a field goal. Here's Thomas on the delay. Right back to the line of scrimmage. Woodley makes a stop. And, of course, the Valvoline halftime show is coming up. John, Craig, and Aaron, they'll have all the scores and highlights. Kansas State standing up tall against Oklahoma. They'll give you the latest on that. The Georgia story down south. And they'll set the table for our second game of our doubleheader later today. Big one out west. Arizona State and USC. Second down, 3 wideouts for Illinois. Jones was the motion man.
Ball's gone!
He's got it. Broken tackle, out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. First down for the Illini.
Boy, Marlon Jackson that time took a very poor angle on this quick hitch to the outside. Marlon had him one-on-one, just a hitch route. You have to come up and just secure the tackle, give him 5 or 6 yards. He came too far inside, rolled out for a big play that time on a very simple throw. 15 yards on a play that should have been a 6 or 7 yarder. Michigan just, they just don't really have it. They just got their flow bad, and Illinois taking advantage of it.
First down, play fake. Blitz was on this time. Picked up by the fullback, out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Jason Davis. And now the Illini with a chance to take their first lead in this game.
Perfect call this time. They had the corner blitz coming from Marlon Jackson, and they run the fullback right into that vacant area. You couldn't make a call any better than this. Ron Turner dialed it. He probably knew from his scouting reports that when you drive the ball on Michigan, they like the blitz, and he came back with an excellent call against that defense.
First down and goal for Illinois. Trailing 10-7 here, 4 minutes. Here's Thomas barging to the end zone. Illinois leads. Fireworks at Memorial Stadium. The Illini in 2 decades have never beaten Michigan here in Champaign. But it's a long, long way to go in this one.
Yeah, but his team is starting to believe right now, Ron Turner's is, all the stuff they told him, stay in the football game, win your individual battles, and something good can happen. They're starting to believe.
The second touchdown of the afternoon for Thomas. 1 receiving, 1 running. And the Illini lead the Wolverines 14-10. Here Thomas, who has given Illinois a 4-point lead here with his 2 touchdowns, 14-10. And again, I cannot overstress the fact that wind blowing from left to right on your screen, every point in this game has been scored with the wind at the back. Michigan won the coin flip and deferred, so they're going to have their choice in the second half. That could be the decisive factor in the 4th quarter, the way this game is unfolding. Now the kickoff return by Steve Preston. And Gary, let's take a look away from the ball.
Yeah, when you play defense, you never know when the ball's coming to you. So you got to keep hustling. Here's Hayden right now. He's on Braylon Edwards. Are they throwing it to him or it's a run? He's covering Braylon Edwards on this play. It's a run play behind him. Michael Hart's going for the ball right there. But every play you got to find where's number 1, and you got to cover him because you never know when it's going to come back to the big star again.
First down at the 31-yard line. Screen pass to Hart underneath. Well, you know, Kelvin Hayden was talking with Gary about what the defense needs to do in this game. And here's what he said.
We just want to go out there and have a mistake-free game and get off the field on 3rd down. That's really the important key, because a lot of times that's when they're moving the ball. 1st and 2nd down, we're all right, but come 3rd down,
we're not executing as well as we're supposed to.
And 50% of the time overall, and 55% in conference games. That will not do it. And Coach Mallory telling us that was the stat that most bothered him. Incomplete.
A drop ball by Braylon Edwards right in his face mask. A little bit of traffic, but no, you got a quarterback, a young freshman quarterback who's struggling. He's 6 for 16. Half of those have been screen passes. He's hit 3 screen passes, and Braylon Edwards gets one right in his face mask here and doesn't catch the football. I mean, you got to make that catch and get a little bit going for your football team.
Third down for the Wolverines. Need a couple of yards. Dudley would be the lead blocker if they decide to run for it. Here comes Hart behind him. Gashes forward, and I believe he got it. The Illini didn't think so, but it was close to that yellow marker down there. Gawalik was the linebacker, number 45, who made a big play. The spot will determine.
Gawalik did what Roy Manning did. He took on Kevin Dudley, the isolation fullback blocker, and then took on Hart right after the play. That's good middle linebacker play.
Timeout. Measurement.
Again, from our view, it just seemed inches away, didn't it?
Yes, it's
that
very,
last
very
view.
close.
He's got it. So we'll adjust the colors just a little bit. Here in Champaign, and in case you just joined us, you might want to hear in 2:55, settle back, get the highlights and scores from John, and then make sure you come back. I've sat in on some great games down here in Champaign when Illinois was an underdog back in the mid-90s to Joe Paterno's Penn State team that went undefeated. They took them right down to the final minutes. Ohio State taking a double overtime the year they won the title. And now it is the Wolverines who must come from behind here in Champaign. And tonight on ABC, the 50th anniversary season of The Wonderful World of Disney begins at 8 Eastern. Growing Pains, the return of the Seavers. And then last week, in case you missed it, we'll bring you Desperate Housewives. And then tomorrow night, of course, the all-new version. That's the hit show, Desperate Housewives. 2:12 here.
Big first down by Michigan there. That's what they need, first down. Being able to pick up 5, 6, 7 yards.
And Hart battling for tough freshman from Syracuse. They move the chains again. Right there is Hart crossed midfield. The Wolverines inside of 2 minutes and working against that wind. You don't even want to think field goal coming into it.
No, they have to get
down.
Yeah, it would cut about 15 yards off your deep field goal. Again, now this is when they usually go deep to Braylon Edwards. Throw it up, let him make one of those jump ball catches. There he is, right in the slot.
They've got all three of the weapons over there to the right. Henne going to throw the screen to him underneath. So he's finally in the scoring column. Didn't get much ground because Alan Ball, the sophomore from Detroit, he's playing very well.
He really is. They've really decided that they're not going to let the short passing, the Michigan short passing, affect them and force Henne to throw the ball downfield.
Wolverines will use a timeout here with 1:29. So we'll take a break with Illinois leading.
Brent, you've talked about it all day, the wind here in Champaign. Well, it's been gusting as high as 35 miles an hour, and the wind does create a problem. Watch that. All right, that's how bad the wind is when you get a little higher than I am. I'll tell you what, Gary, you were right. You're going to lose about 15 yards as far as your farthest field goal kick for Revis.
There's something about which way you do something into the wind, Jack. Be careful down there, okay?
Jack, what was that you threw?
A little confetti, huh?
Right in his face, didn't it? All right, second down here with 1:29 to go. Michigan with a couple of timeouts, and of course, when you're trying to drive, the thing that really aids you in a college game is that the clock stops after a successful first down. So Chad Henne, the freshman. Gabe, blitz coming from the Illini. They don't get there. Yes, they do now. Sinclair finally broke free. Henne took a little bit too much time, Gary.
You know, Michigan only put 3 guys out that time. Matt Sinclair, the linebacker, came, and that's the game plan against Michigan. take away the short throw. Michigan keeps in their tight end and Hart this time to help. Actually, Hart goes out, but Kevin Dudley stays in, and Sinclair goes right through Kevin Dudley's block and gets the sack. But you know what? There was nobody open downfield that time for Henne to go with.
So we've got another timeout being used by the Wolverines, trying to squeeze something out of the final minute here in the first half. Mike Mallory, they're talking to his defensive players, working hard on the sideline. The one thing that I have noticed about this Illinois defense, they are using almost up to 22 players in here. Mike is running in different packages one after another, shifting defensive linemen, linebackers, going to extra defensive backs, working against his alma mater here. Now in that big third down, and the Illini have been burned on third and long, and this one's real long. 17 after the sack. Henne fires up high, intercepted on the ricochet, ball thrown high. Second pick, and here comes Hayden. Hayden, the corner. That's his third interception of the season, leads the Illini, picks it off with 48 seconds to go. He has given Illinois a late field goal opportunity with the wind at their back.
Illinois comes with a blitz on this play. They're playing very aggressively, only it's a zone blitz. The ball avant to him, thrown behind and high, and all of a sudden, a free ball for Kelvin Hayden. That's his third, and you know he's very good with the football, but he made the move to defense because he can do a lot of things. He knows both sides of the ball, obviously, and because he's on defense, he's proved that he's durable and great anticipation, and he anticipated that ball and caught it and then ran afterwards. What a play by Hayden.
Split backs shown by Turner. Beautiful defensive play by Leon Hall, timed perfectly. And,
that ball hung, though. That ball hung. That was a wind ball.
Yeah.
The ball was thrown to the sideline. It kind of drifted back in. You could see the receiver that time. I think it was, let's see who this was. Oh, Kendrick Jones was the player. He said, get that ball to the sideline. And, you know, Butcher said, yeah, you try to throw this thing. It's 35-mile-an-hour wind here. If that ball would have been thrown to the outside, he had a completion on the play.
If they try a long field goal, they'll go to their kickoff man, Steve Weatherford. And they're trying to run, and the Wolverines jumped at that time and determined not to give him a shot. That a long one is Shazer, been very aggressive in that secondary for the Wolverines. So timeout call by the Illini. They used their last one prior to this third down.
Yeah, see, that's a little dangerous now since they've used their last timeout. Now if they complete a ball, they're going to have to run their field goal unit in there.
We're back now for the final 35 seconds, Gary.
Let's be aware here. It's third down. If the Illini do not pick up a first down to get a field goal attempt, they're going to have to run their field goal unit out there. They have no timeouts, and they can't ground the ball.
Jason Rita is the regular kicker for the Illini. Weatherford is the lawman. Butcher's got time, fires high, incomplete. Tough to throw into the windy conditions. Mark Kornfeld, the intended receiver.
Now
and here comes fourth down. And
fourth down, I think I'd throw one into the end zone here. You know, I mean, you take a try at a tip ball, a jump ball into the end zone.
Rather than try a 52-yarder with Weatherford?
I don't know if Weatherford has that distance. His long of the year, I think, is 35 yards.
No, that's
Rita.
Excuse
me, Rita. Yeah, Weatherford could do it. Yes, downwind. I guess he doesn't want a block kick, basically, right?
Yeah, it looks that way. 30 seconds to go, fourth down. Throw in underneath to the fullback.
Big
First
play.
down.
Big play.
Now they're in field goal range for sure.
And they
Clock
can ground
stop.
it.
They can ground it to stop it again. 23 seconds to go.
Boy, Ron Turner, great call there.
He's made the most of Jason Davis.
Absolutely.
Stops the clock. with 20 seconds to go.
And they still have an opportunity to throw a couple of balls, you know, and try to get closer or try to get one into the end zone still.
Future has done a superb job, and Coach Turner here on the sideline has called a good game.
You just got to make sure this is the tough time for an offense. You want to try for a field goal. You want to get a try for a touchdown. You don't want to blow both.
Future incomplete. The receiver Jones was slipping on the play, covered by Hall.
Butcher got hit, and he was lucky to get rid of that ball that time. Did a good job just to get rid of it and not take a sack on the play because he was getting pressured the whole time coming from the outside. I think it was Lawrence Reed who was putting the pressure on that time. Number 42, I think Reed gets inside, basically dodges the fullback's block and actually hits him and then gets hit again inside. Double whammy, both linebackers that time, McClintock and Reed.
What's interesting is that Marlon Jackson is not in the game for Michigan. Curry is over on that corner with Hall. And Future works against Curry, goes fade deep, Jones down, no flag over there.
A well-thrown ball, could have been a touchdown there. Marcus Curry, who has been benched, won his job, lost his job, gets beat to the outside. If this ball's on target, you see it. Layout that time by Marcus Curry, goes with the ankles, and he turns around and says, I'm happy, I got away with it.
Now Rita will attempt the 40-yarder. With the wind in his back, Rita boosts Illinois to a 7-point lead in the closing moments of the first half.
Well, when you got that win, you can hit your career-long drive, and that was his career-long for him that time. Downwind, and it made it very, very easily. Nice return, nice points off the turnover. Interception by Hayden, and Illinois makes it count.
And folks, the underdog is howling in Champaign. I can hear him right now.
You know, sometimes most people that have played quarterback have been benched. John, it's tough when you're a sixth-year quarterback. You're the senior, you're the leader. You get benched at Michigan State. I think Ron Turner did a good job of saying you got to earn it back. And that refocused John Butcher this week in practice. Turner said he had a great week, Ron did, and it's paying off today.
Well, Illinois closes out the first half on some note. 2 touchdowns and a field goal on their last 3 possessions.
You know, they moved the ball well against Purdue when they had them here at home. They just couldn't stop Purdue. Today they're getting stops. Their difference has been their defense today.
And Michigan stopped themselves on that last drive when they threw the interception in the end zone, Gary.
Yeah, back to back. They had the interception in the end zone and then the interception on the high ball to Jason Avon. Chad Henne struggling, 7 for 18. Probably 4 of them have been screens. 3 or 4 have been screen passes.
On the ground. To the 40-yard line, and the clock runs out here on the first half, and you can listen to the reaction of the crowd here in Champaign. The teams will cross as they go to their respective locker rooms. We go quickly to Chad.
Coach, 2 big picks and a 10-point sway. How do you calm everything down at halftime?
Well, we've got 30 minutes to play, Jack, and that's the good news. We got to stop turning the football over, and we got to tighten up defensively.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
And ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Bob. Welcome back to the Valvoline Halftime Show. Touchdown run by Thomas here, part of a 17-10 lead. Illinois surprising Michigan right now. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor for you here. And let's get on to the scores and highlights. Oklahoma, you had to wonder how they would come back after such an intense victory against Texas. They shut them out, but it was still their big rival, and they had to face Kansas State, a team.
A shocker at the half. Illinois is up 7, and something, Gary, that is really out of whack.
Well, Braylon Edwards is the key to this offense. He's the pressure point, and today Illinois has done a great job. A number of different things have happened. Only one reception for 1 yard. They've been on him tight. You know, whether it's been a good defensive play, a drop pass, or when he does catch one of those short passes, they've been right on him to tackle him. Of course, the other time, Michigan stopped themselves. He catches a touchdown pass, and they get a holding penalty on a touchdown.
Now, Michigan will get the ball here to start the second half. Yes. All right, they'll move into the wind. And that means that Illinois will get the wind at their back in the fourth quarter. Although we should point out that Jack Arudis told us it's really swirling down in the field right now.
No, Michigan will have the ball with the wind at the fourth quarter. So Illinois had the choice. They could have taken it in the third or the fourth. They've elected to take it in the third. It's debatable, you know, because you don't know if the wind's going to change late in the game. And Ron Turner says, hey, let's kick with the wind. Let's kick it out of the end zone and play defense.
Exactly. So we settle in here with the breeze already having blown the ball off the tee.
I think Michigan, even though they're able to run the ball, and Henne's struggling, I think they need to throw more. Their players, their skilled players are at receiver. They need to throw the football.
Michigan has run 22 times and thrown 18, although we should point out that the freshman seems to be struggling a little bit with the throwing game here.
Not a very good kick.
So the wind swirling rather than at their back as Preston comes upfield to the 35-yard line, and things are changing a little bit here at Memorial Stadium. And now it's time for the Pacific Life game summary. The turnovers, Michigan 2 interceptions, Illinois 1, and Gary, turnovers have really plagued the Wolverines this season.
They were bad all year, but look at this. 4 for 10. Remember, Illinois said they wanted to win 60% on third down. They're doing that right now. 60% of the time, they're beating Michigan on third down.
Chad Henne hands to Hart to the 41-yard line. And Jack, what's our situation down there with the Illini and Coach Turner?
Well, it's a very good locker room for Ron Turner and the Fighting Illini. He talked to all of his players. He said, guys, remain loose. Play the next 30 minutes like you did the last 30 minutes. And then just before he went out, he reminded them of that Tim McGraw song, and he said, hey, guys, how bad do you want it? Update on the wind, guys. It is indeed swirling, but it's still prevalent, more so than not, with the wind at the back of the Michigan Wolverines right now.
And here is Hart, which of course means that if it is at the back of the Wolverines, that it's coming a little bit from right to left, which was certainly not the case. And it is hard to tell if the flags across the stadium, across the way, are swirling. The American flag, it has swirled so much, has wrapped itself around the pole. And so wind, I don't think it's going to matter which way you're going here. The wind is going to be a huge factor. 25 miles an hour was measured at early on, swirling at 35 miles an hour. Michigan down 7 now with a 3rd and 1. And Hart to the 47-yard line for the first down.
Well, Michael Hart has been as advertised today. Run the ball. He's already got 119, 20 yards in the football game. Good first down coming out. Michigan wants to score and get this back to a tie game. Keep the crowd out of it. You know, Illinois just got out of the locker room. They're feeling good about themselves. Michigan puts points on the board.
Here is Hart to the middle. Twist to midfield that time for about 3 yards, and Sinclair makes another stop. Sinclair's been very active, Gary.
He has been. You know, this is the type of game when Michigan's running the ball between the tackles that Matt Sinclair is really at his best. It's those spread out teams. You know, Michigan State, Northwestern, Purdue, where Matt Sinclair's kind of a little bit of fish out of water. But this game, he's looking forward to this game because he knows there's going to be a little smash mouth football at him.
It looks like Lloyd Carr and the Wolverine coaches have decided that with the weather conditions to try and saddle up and see if they can mount a running game right at them. Although this time Henne hit on the release high, Preston out of bounds, far side, and this will be 3rd and fairly long coming up here for the Wolverines as Henne was under pressure that time from Gawalik,
yeah, that was
linebacker.
A bust by the Michigan offensive line as you look at Michigan's last 4 drives and why they are in a battle here to remain undefeated in the Big Ten. Remember, as Brent said in the open, Illinois has not won a Big Ten game, 11 straight losses in the Big Ten.
Third down. Odd man front and a three-man rush, and Henne against it. Fires complete to Avant across the 40-yard line for the first down that time.
Yeah, I like what they have to do here. And listen, when you got Breston, Avant, and Edwards, Ecker and Massacoy catching the ball, it's just, for me, hard to just try to play a run-it-out, grind-it-out game. Edwards going to come across here, get a lot of attention, and then to the outside, you get an easy throw. Great read. Watch inside, crowded inside, throw the ball outside. That's a nice stretch and a real good throw by Chad Henne.
Braylon Edwards, and that's too many men in the huddle.
Yep.
Gonzalez was already in the huddle. Braylon Edwards came in late. Whitvote, the referee, saw that they had 12 men in there, threw the yellow flag, and that is a costly 5 yards against the Wolverines.
Nothing really anyone could do. Once you get 12 in there, there's no way you can get out from that penalty. It's a missed substitution from the sideline, and it cost them.
Now Avant returns to the lineup, and Tab will come out. Dudley is also out of this set for Michigan.
The Illinois linebackers have been putting pressure on Chad Henne with their inside blitzes. Michigan's offensive line has been missing. Here's that diamond formation.
Here's the 4-down lineman look from Illinois. They come off the 3, the end around, and Hart, I should say a reverse, as they brought Hart from the right side around that time, and nothing much doing against the Illinois defense. If there is any unit, Gary, that has played above itself here today, I would say it is Mallory's defensive team.
Absolutely. They're second, they're 10th in the Big Ten, only ahead of Indiana, giving up 434 yards a game. And so far, they're keeping their team in with turnovers, rushing the quarterback, and forcing some bad throws.
Second and long. Avant and Edwards are off to the right. Edwards is the slot man. Gonzalez now comes in motion. And Henne looking underneath. Hart on the quick screen. Looks for an alley outside, and he is run out of bounds at the 31-yard line on that far side. So third down coming up again. Justin Harrison, who intercepted one of the 2 balls in the first half, pushes him out of bounds.
Another nice call by Terry Malone in Michigan. Passing situation, remember, no matter how well Chad Henne has played, he's still a freshman. It's a Big Ten defense. Calls a very safe screen pass and picks up now 3rd and medium where they can do anything.
Need 4 for the first down. Need to get to the 26 for the first down. Draw play Hart. Battles, struggles, reaches out, and may have gotten it with that second effort and did. What a tough freshman.
You remember, G's Keys, spread it out and run. That's exactly what Michigan likes to do. Receivers all over the field. Illinois is thinking pass, spread the field, and run the ball in a little simple draw play and have Hart fall forward for the first down.
Avant to the right, Edwards to the left. Dudley back in as the fullback. Ecker the tight end. Here comes Hart. Thrown down for a loss of a yard, and the young man's got talent, Jack.
Well, Brent, he says he has talent, as you say, but he also says that he's still learning. One of the things that he wants to try and improve upon is his leg strength. And he says that what he does is when he hits that first hole, when the first tackler grabs him, he tries to churn his legs even harder. And he says he has to use a little bit of a mental image. He keeps saying to himself, just keep hitting it, keep churning, keep churning, keep churning. He's been doing a lot of churning today.
If ever there was a time to find number 1, it's now. 2nd down and 10. Edwards slotted to the left side of this formation. Now Hart goes out as a wide receiver far to the right, leaving Dudley as the protector. And they run Dudley out of the formation. Didn't completely fool the Illini. He got past the defensive front, but not the linebackers. And now it's 3rd and long again.
Gawlik's having a good football game. Middle linebacker for Illinois that time. It was a trap inside. Michigan was going to try to get it with a quick hitter inside. Number 45 just stuffed that play to make it 3rd and long.
Here is a big play for the Wolverines, and Breston brings it in from the sideline.
And the key for Illini, remember, 3rd down. Can they get a stop right here?
And the Illini defense 7 of 13 Michigan is on third downs. Here it comes again. Henne has time, fires, and at the 20-yard line, short of the first down. Big third down stop by the Illini that time. Kelvin Hayden, the converted wide receiver over on Thruston. And decision time here for Lloyd.
Tough field goal with this wind out here.
They're not indicating they're going to try it either into that wind.
Exactly.
Now the flag is swirled back into their face completely. They're going to have to go for it. First down is at the 15-yard line. Need 3. Hart's the running back. Timeout.
Right here. Look at that.
They use a timeout. Fourth down coming up. Fourth down and 3. Michigan trailing Illinois 17-10. Ball is just across the 20-yard line. Henne hit as he releases, incomplete. Illinois takes over on its own 19-yard line because of the wind. Lloyd Carr and Michigan decided not to attempt a field goal. That's how much that swirling wind is affecting this football
Illinois
game.
was very aggressive. They blitzed and went man-to-man. Henne starts out right, has to turn left. When he gets it, he gets a little crowd at his feet and makes an off-target throw. He had the option, he had the first down, and he missed them high again.
Now it is John Butcher, who in that first half was 13 of 19 for 97 yards and no interceptions. Here's Pierre Thomas, stuffed by Michigan. He carried 14 times for 55 yards. Manning with the stop.
You know, Michigan 13-play drive there, no points. Took, what, 6.5 minutes off the clock, and Illinois comes out with the lead. But Michigan showed themselves they can move the ball. Now Illinois cannot sit on this lead. Butcher's going to have to throw the ball again another 18 or 19 times in the second half, I think.
Second down and 6. Receiver went down at the 40-yard line. Jones looking for the flag. Jackson, the defender, was all over him that time, and it was a clean, outstanding defense. Time permitting, of course, we'll have the Thrifty Carmelo postgame report with John, Craig, and Aaron. Stay tuned. Highlights and analysis, and there are some underdogs howling around the country here this afternoon. No louder than right here in Champaign is Ernest Shazer, the defensive player of the week a week ago, coming up with 10 tackles and a forced fumble here on the first snap of the game by Illinois. Right after the opening kickoff led to a field goal. Now on third down. Butcher with the split backs. Fires a bad one, picked off at the 20, 15. McClintock out of bounds inside the 10-yard line, and Butcher serves up his first pick of the day, and the Wolverines with a golden opportunity.
Scott McClintock, number 36, is a linebacker. He bluffs in the line of scrimmage like he's going to blitz, and he backs off right into the throwing lane. By the way, Purdue, get ready for that. That's the exact offense that, the exact defense that Michigan has been so good against the spread offense of Purdue. The linebackers sugar in, back off, quarterback never sees them, easy interception.
Now the Wolverines looking for the tying score. Hart's the running back. Behind Dudley, steps outside, 5, dives for the pylon, out of bounds. Going to be marked at about the 1-yard line, where it will be second down and goal, as Hart gave it up, going for the pylon. Take a look at it.
Kelvin Hayden, number 6, thought Braylon Edwards held him right there. Did he get into the outside? You can see it never gets unlocked on the play, and almost Hart gets the football on the pylon. Hayden was irate that it was holding on the play, but not enough. Hayden goes, you know, when I held on offense like that, they used to always call him.
Second down and goal. 2 tight ends. Henne keeps it, rolls, touchdown Ecker. On the roll, coming around, Tyler Ecker, last week's hero against Minnesota, puts the Wolverines on the scoreboard after the interception by McClintock, and now they are an extra point away, and nothing is automatic. Nothing is automatic with the wind blowing. Let me tell you that right now.
Michigan doesn't have enough guys out there for the extra point team.
A huge mistake by the Wolverines here in this situation.
Still have time.
Yeah, they had plenty of time. They picked it up on that sideline and got their player out there quickly, and now Rivas
missed it.
Misses the extra point. Like I told you, nothing was automatic in this wind here today.
It was Kevin Dudley that was the 11th guy out there. I don't know if he was substituting for somebody. Let's go back to the touchdown. Play action pass right up the middle behind Hart. Illinois has to sell out. Ecker goes down on one knee, gets up. Good throw from Henne, and then a little bit out of sync, and Rivas missed the extra point.
The wind continues to be a factor here in Champaign. ABC Sports presentation of college football now is brought to you by Nissan. Everything we touch, we shift, and everything we shift, we try to make better. And the Home Depot. You can do it. We can help. There is the engineering campus here in Champaign. Their library, and Braylon Edwards receiving a little tape job on that far sideline over there. Still trying to get on track. The physical Illinois corners doing a good job on him so far in this game. He made a terrific touchdown catch that was called back in the first half. And, that's been his big highlight of the game. With Nienberg has the ball on the tee. This one's going to be fielded at the 10 by Thomas. Runs into his own man, bounces off of him, got daylight, 40, 45. The dangerous return man brings it out, and Butcher and the Illini with field position. Now here's the comparison. Turnovers have plagued both of our quarterbacks now after Butcher threw that interception a short time ago. But Chad Henne has thrown 2 picks, both sitting on 97 yards with a touchdown apiece.
Well, the yards have been tough because of the weather. John was off to a great start. Chad Henne struggled, but that last drive, the opening drive of the second half by Chad Henne, got him back into his rhythm. And it looks like, with that finish he had last week against Minnesota, you have to trust that Henne will come through in the football game if you're Michigan.
DeJuan Warren in as a receiver. Thomas on a stretch play.
Going out there.
Cannot get outside the defense. And again, Lamar Woodley, the young man from Saginaw, Michigan, a sophomore, doing a terrific job on that play.
Michigan's defense is good because they have stars at a lot of different spots. Gabe Watson in the middle, we've talked about. Emerging very quickly right here is Lamar Woodley, number 56. Michael Jackson right there. Shazor's emerging. They got stars in the secondary, linebacker, safety, and the defensive line.
Second down and 15. Butcher sacked at the 31-yard line. Lawrence Reed cleans up on the play for the sack. So the linebackers come on it. And a reminder tonight on ESPN, a terrific college football game. Virginia, how good are the Cavaliers? Al Groh doing a wonderful job of coaching down there at his alma mater in Tallahassee to play Florida State. What's your thought on that one, Garrett?
Well, number one, it's hard to look at number 6 Virginia and number 7 Florida State. It's the other way around. Florida State is the lower ranked team, but I like Florida State. I think they're getting better, and I think I like them at home.
Third down for the Illini. Blitz incomplete. And it's 3 and out. Butcher was under pressure from the corner. Jackson all over him.
Yeah, and that's a staple rush for Michigan. 3rd and long. They like to bring Marlon Jackson off the slot. Force the quarterback to throw that ball quickly. I'm surprised Illinois wasn't aware and ready for that. It's a staple.
Now Preston back deep. Steve Weatherford, the punter for the Illini.
The wind could help this return.
Weatherford hangs it beautifully. Caught the jet stream. Now can Preston find a hole? No. Down shy of the 20-yard line. So Weatherford with a terrific 62-yard punt. Illinois leads it by a point. Timeout. Suppose he drove all night from Ann Arbor?
Yeah, right. I just don't hope I find him on the roads later.
First down and 10 for Chad Henne and the Wolverines. Trail it by a point. Moved the ball well into the wind the last time out. Everything A-OK except for the missed extra point. Hart again. Bangs off would-be tacklers out to the 22-yard line. A very, very impressive freshman runner after contact. I know that Adrian Peterson down at Oklahoma showed his flash and dash outside and slashing, but this youngster is tough to bring down.
And tough is the word. Look at that where he runs the ball up the middle. He's not one of those guys that are going to, like Anthony Davis, going to run their outside. He goes between the tackles in this Michigan offense. Calvin Hayden, number 6 that time, really went for the ball and didn't wrap up his man and caused that play to work.
Henne. Braylon. And first down. And John, how are the Georgia Bulldogs doing?
Well, Brent, after losing to Tennessee last week, looking to get healthy against Vanderbilt. David Green, 22 yards to Leonard. Oh, touchdown. Vanderbilt getting crushed, 23-3. You see the numbers in David Green. Touchdown run as well. Brent.
All right, John. So Green bouncing back.
Yeah,
was taken out of that loss last week, Gary.
Yeah, Chad Henne's bouncing back, too, don't you think? I mean, he went through his worst, and he's coming back, really settling down in the football game.
Here comes Hart, slashing, got the corner. Wonderful run, showing balance all the way to the 45-yard line. Freshman Michael Hart. It's 26 more yards for him, and Hart on the day, 170 yards.
Look, big pull to the outside that time. Tackle gets the man on the ground. Hart just turns the corner. Mars Virgil that time did not come up with the tackle. And, you know, when Michigan starts able to run the ball outside on you, you know, number one's not going off the field. You start to have problems defensively matching up.
Max Martin gives Hart a breather. Here's the other freshman to the 40-yard line. You know, there are several outstanding freshmen making an impact, but when you think about it, perhaps none bigger than these four. I just mentioned Adrian Peterson and Michael and Chad Henne we've been talking about all day. Eric Ainge down at Tennessee. John talked about that victory by the Volunteers. And so there are 4 diaper dandies, superb, all 4.
But Michigan's winning with 2 of them in the backfield at the same time. That is really some good coaching.
And he got him on the move again. Here's Martin trying to join that select list. And he'll get thrown back. Now we've got Kansas State and Oklahoma going at it. So let's go back to John.
Brent, could it be 2 years in a row for Kansas State against Oklahoma? Jason White is picked off by Brandon Archer, who sees nothing but the end zone, 27 yards, and Kansas State has regained the lead, 21-17. Brent.
This is some Saturday, huh, John? I mean, the dogs are starting to howl all over the place. USC, look out, baby. Here come the Sun Devils. 3rd down. Here's Hart back in the lineup, got the first down, crosses 30, 20, still battling for the end zone and out of bounds as Justin Harrison finally takes down the gutty freshman runner. Man, is he impressive.
Watch Matt Lentz pull number 67 and get around and get this block. This is what allows it. You get the guy out there, he's going to get the chop block, and look at that turn to the outside now. Cleans it up. Linebackers on the ground that time. Hart runs inside. Number 20, Morris Virgil, who misses another tackle, and Hart gets it down the sideline. 200 yards rushing for Michael Hart.
First and goal. Here's Hart. Stopped at the line of scrimmage, and it'll be 2nd down and a goal as Mike Maloney, the senior defensive tackle from Joliet Catholic, is in there on that one.
Well, Illinois' football team came in the 10th rated Big Ten defense against the run. And so far in this football game, Michigan is making them pay. 214 yards rushing in the game already with another full quarter to go.
Dudley's the fullback. Offset to the left. Behind Ecker.
One-on-one to the bottom here.
And Henne looks in that direction. Goes for Edwards up in the air. Jump ball. Incomplete. And there is a penalty flag.
Yeah, the back judge called it. There was one judge right there. Official didn't call it, and the back judge came running in and called the play on Hayden. Calvin Hayden matched up man-to-man on that play. Ball put in a position where Braylon could have caught it.
Interference, defense, number 6. The ball will be placed by rule on the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
Fade pass to the outside. You like your opportunities if you're Michigan right here. Ball's in the air, only one guy's seen it. Hayden turns around and pushing with his left hand the whole time, but
I thought it was interference.
Pushing with one hand and swatting with the other hand.
He maintained contact with that left hand on the jersey.
Oh, nice cut by Hart again.
Stuck. Second down and goal. Good play by Hayden. A very aggressive defensive back, Gary, is number 6. And, you know, he told us that he was going to play aggressively against Braylon Edwards, and that's what he did on that.
He did on that one, but this time Michigan's tight ends don't rub off. Good job inside. Mike O'Brien is helping on the tackle, and Hayden comes up and clean up, and Michigan again from the 3-yard line, lost the yard.
Second down and goal. Hart still a running back behind Dudley. Dudley looking for his first touchdown. Will they try to give it to him somehow? No, they're going to try to run Hart off that block, and it's 3rd and goal. Hart cut inside into defensive traffic that time, and now it's the 3rd down call with Michigan trailing here by a point. Matt Sinclair was in there with Mike O'Brien.
Michigan now likes to spread the field and still run Michael Hart up the middle. Let's see if they come in with their wide receivers against the nickel.
The wide receivers are on the field. They just came in.
And try to still run number 20. We asked for 30 touches. We got 34 so far on Michael Hart. This is what they like to do, Michigan does. Spread the field and run.
Hayden will go with Braylon Edwards. Henne's quarterback draw. Got it. Touchdown. Michigan leads on the quarterback draw by Chad Henne. And the spread helped relieve the defensive cluster in the middle. And Henne takes it in.
Good call. An opportunity now. Does Michigan go for 2? It looks like they are going to go for 2 here. Quarterback draw. Illinois is running all over, blitzing the quarterback, looking for Hart, and they run the quarterback draw.
Light ball.
Five-point game. Of course, you get 2, you're up by 7.
Michigan dominating going into the wind here. That is huge if you look ahead to the 4th quarter. You need to throw for the 2. Knocked down. Incomplete. Ecker, the intended receiver.
Braylon Edwards put his hands over his face because he was wide open on the play. Edwards is going to go over here and come right in the middle. Watch how open he is right there. Goes to the outside, shoots inside, and he's wide open on an easy little slant pass, but Henne forces it over the middle, and Virgil gets the knockdown. Edwards, as you can see, runs right underneath Hayden, and he goes, oh, I could have had an easy one right there. Look for number 1.
So Michigan up by 5, 54 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. And a reminder, of course, this is the first game of our doubleheader. And those of you in the Midwest, you'll be watching the Buckeyes trying to snap their 2-game losing streak. They will be in Iowa City taking on the Hawkeyes. And those of you watching on the satellite and game plan, some of you down in Austin, Maryland, and of course Arizona State at USC. But most of you here in the Midwest, Ohio State, Iowa is next. The Buckeyes a slight favorite going into Iowa City, having lost 2 in a row. And now the Illini did not take advantage of the situation here in the third quarter. Turner knows he'll have his hands full in the fourth. Chad Henne and the Wolverines extremely efficient going into the wind.
Hit a line drive that time, didn't he? Kept it low under the wind and jammed
it'll
it
come out on the 20.
Well, can Illinois now find that little dink and dunk West Coast offense that kept Michigan off balance in the first half? Finding the fullback, running the ball just enough, keeping them off balance. So far, when they've had to throw the ball or Illinois has had to run the ball, Michigan has been able to stop them. It's been when they kept them off balance that they've been effective.
Well, the difference here in the second half. You imagine Lloyd Carr and the Michigan coaches got on the Wolverines a little bit. Quit peeking down the road at Purdue and start concentrating on the Illini. Butcher bootlegging on the run, has to throw it, incomplete. Throw it away. He was being chased by Pat Massey, the senior from Brecksville, Ohio.
Oh, nice job by the Michigan linebackers that time, finding the fullback and the tight end. Butcher, the same play where they slipped the fullback into the flat in the first half. This time Michigan says, we're finding our guys, nowhere to throw. John had to throw that football away. Michigan starting to key in on their reads in the second half.
Jackson bluffing blitz. And he coming over on the run, helping out on the tackle. It was interesting to watch Jackson over here. He came off the wide man. The wide receiver read it that he was going to come over on that side. They have moved Jackson around in that secondary. He's gone on the slot receiver. He's played both corners here today. He's been very active in that secondary for the Wolverines.
3rd and long. Michigan got a good stop on first down that time, and that's what's really kept the Illini behind the chains. Now the nickel package is in.
And Marcus Curry showing bump and run on the left. The Illini without a breakaway wide receiver, and it is starting to impact them as the throw is high intended for Jones, and Curry was over on him, and Jones is complaining again over there.
And that was one of the tentative throws by John Butcher there. His arm motion was very slow. He wasn't quick and authoritative, and that's why that ball sailed on him. Started to aim that football a bit after the interception.
So the Wolverines dominate the third quarter. That's your storyline here, trailing at the half. Their only problem was in the extra point category. Missing one, they try for 2 on the second one. Don't get it. Preston runs it down at the 15-yard line. Slips a tackle, and he is down at the 22 as the third quarter comes to an end. Michigan leads it by 5, 22-17. Back to this message and a word from our ABC stations. Untimed down to end the third quarter. There was a holding penalty on the punt. So what you are watching is 1st and 10 for Michigan. And they stuff him, and now they will switch ends. So it was a late flag on a holding penalty. And now they will flip-flop with Michigan leading 22-17 as we start the fourth. And, well, we've got a moment. Let's check in on that wild OU Kansas State game. And let's send you to New York and John.
Brent, Kansas State was celebrating on the sidelines after taking the lead. Bad idea. Jason White to Mark Clayton. Whoops. Nice little move right there. Touchdown. And Oklahoma is back on top by 3, 24-21. Brent.
All right, John, thank you. So that's a good one there. And I got to tell you something, Gary. We got more than we bargained for here today. The Illini have given us a good. However, Michigan really dominated the third quarter.
They're starting to come now. Chad Henne's comfortable. We got Hart over 200 yards. Yep. I think that Michigan did a great job of using that quarter against the wind, basically, and driving the ball, making short third down plays. But the last punt by Illinois, having 3 seconds to go and using the wind, improved field position-wise, good for Illinois. So still in the football game. Good game.
Yeah, exactly, because Michigan botched another extra point. They've struggled with extra points.
John Butcher needs to get back on his game, though. It looks to me like that interception has bothered him a little bit. He looks more tentative. Michigan's clamping on his receivers. He's starting to guide the ball.
Well, again, Michael Hart, the freshman from Syracuse, 32 carries, 202 yards here today. Michigan with 319 total yards of offense, and Hart has 202 of them. He has been the difference maker here today. The Illini with only 151 yards, and as Gary aptly points out, Hart has another 23 yards receiving. This is second down and long, and here he comes again, tacking on even more yards, and he'll break that freshman record. He smashed the one he set last week. He'll set one here today that'll stand for a long time, it looks like.
My keys to the game was Michael Hart needed 30 touches. I really wasn't putting any yardage to that. I figured if he gets 30 touches, it means Michigan controls the game. He's now run 33 times and caught 3 passes, and they are controlling the game.
What did Adrian Peterson get against Texas? 225, something like that?
Yeah.
Well, Hart's sitting on 214 here against Illinois. First down and 10.
I don't know if you know, but Illinois is not Texas.
I didn't want to bring that up. Didn't want to ruin a good story. Here's Preston over there behind a Braylon Edwards block, and out very close to the first down marker. Joe Mealy makes a stop for the Illini.
It does appear that Michigan's in total control of the football game now, but it's still just a 5-point football game. Okay, so any mistake, you got 2 freshmen playing. Watch Braylon gets a block right here. Does it on the linebacker inside. Sinclair that time gets a good block on the linebacker. Braylon not getting any big plays for Michigan today, but doing all the little things.
Now the measurement on that far side. Again, very, very close.
Michigan has turned control of this game by controlling third down. They're now 9 for 16. The stat that Illinois worried about is the one that's coming back to haunt them. In the third quarter, they were 5 for 6 on third down.
And here are the offensive leaders for the Wolverines. Avant today is the leader in the receiving category because Edwards has been limited to 2 catches for 8 yards. We've told you the Hart story and the Henne story. The Diaper Dandies.
A waste down here, second and short. Would you go deep one time?
Bobbles the snap. And somehow Hart was still able to get the handoff from Henne. So the 2 freshmen save a disaster and pick up a first down.
Yeah, there was almost something in those diapers that time. The Diaper Dandies. Drops it. Whoa! There we go. We got it going.
First down and 10 at the 34-yard line. Hart, Dudley over on opposite wings this time, and here comes Hart to the Dudley side. Not much doing on that play, so it'll be second down and long as Mealy, the redshirt freshman out of New Jersey, makes another stop.
Yeah, no one blocked him for Michigan that time. The middle linebacker, when he's on blocked, you know that's a bust. That's a mental error somewhere on that offensive line. Someone did not account for the middle linebacker as Gowalik gets a rest, and Mealy makes the tackle.
Well, a reminder that at the end of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team, and Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern, catch the IndyCar Series finale, the Chevy 500, right here on ABC Sports. Rembert replaces Hart as the running back. Play fake, blocks. Good block by Rembert. Here's Braylon Edwards, third catch of the game. First down, Michigan at the 46-yard line. Good block by Pierre Rembert that day on that play, and a look at the Big Ten today. Of course, the unbeatens, Wisconsin and Purdue, are on ESPN2. Following our games, Ohio State and Iowa. 3 teams idle today in the conference.
You see how Michigan's getting control of this game, making first downs. Illinois a zip so far.
Martin stretches. 5-yard run for Max Martin from Alabama, and Thornhill with the stop for Illinois.
You know what's real interesting? 5-point game here, Brent. And what if, you know, Martin or Rembert lays one on the ground. You know, we're all going to second guess. Why don't you have Hart in there? But you got to keep your tailbacks fresh throughout a game. It's part of the risk of playing football. One guy can't carry the ball every play, and the backups have to come through once in a while for you.
2nd down and 5. And here comes Martin swinging to the right. And Martin with a 1st down at the 37-yard line following the Dudley block, and it was a beauty.
Kevin Dudley was looking inside. He read it. Nothing showed. Watch him right here. He wants to come up. He sees nothing, and he turns out and gets the block. Comes up, nothing there. Turns out on the safety, does a wonderful job of finding Morris Virgil that time, and springs the running back into the secondary. That's what a blocking back can do.
1st down and 10 now. Here's Martin, big hole on the left side. Another 1st down. And out of bounds inside the 20 at the 16-yard line for Max Martin.
Braylon Edwards got a key block downfield to really spring that into another 10 or 12 yards to the outside. Michigan's offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage. Now watch Braylon downfield. One-on-one coverage outside. Hayden sees nothing. Now ball breaks out. Now watch Braylon come back and get the block out of Hayden and spring another 12 yards out of that play.
Hart back on the field. And Olivo is the fullback. The junior from Maryland is set in front of him. Here's Hart again to the 13-yard line. He's over 220 yards now.
I'll tell you this, it was a 10-play drive, and Michigan has run the ball 9 plays. Only the pass over the middle to Braylon Edwards is the only pass of this drive, as it looks like those accumulation of 1st downs has taken the starch out of this Illini defense.
Michigan has now run the ball 49 times and passed 26. Make it 50. And Hart, the difference maker, across the 10-yard line, closing in on 230 yards rushing. The work of the offensive line. Stenovich, Riley, Boss, Lenz, and Jake Long has opened this game up. The offensive line has taken control of this football game. They've moved into the wind and with it.
And Michigan put 500-plus yards last week against Minnesota, and they continue this game. They're now over 400 yards against Illinois.
Here's Hart again, stretching right. Run out of bounds at the 7-yard line that time.
This is going to be very close, and remember, it's a 5-point game. If it's close and not a 1st down, a field goal makes it an 8-point game.
Well, time permitting, the Thrifty Carvana postgame report. John, Craig, and Aaron, stay tuned for highlights and analysis from today's matchups.
It is 4th down, and it appears that Lloyd is going to go for it.
Well, having trouble with extra points, and remember the one field goal earlier today by Lloyd ricocheted off the upright.
Take a timeout though and talk about it. New rule this year: the coaches can call them themselves.
So we'll take a break. 4th down and less than a yard. Here comes Michael Hart with 228 yards, and the man in front of him is nicknamed Dog, number 32, Dudley. Has never scored a touchdown for the Wolverines. Remember, 20 as a senior in high school in Indiana. He could be the lead man here for Hart. And it'll be Henne straight ahead for the 1st down. And now, you know, we talk about Dudley and will they get him a touchdown? And Gary asked Coach Carr, Lloyd, what about getting Kevin Dudley a Michigan touchdown?
He came to me back in the summer and he wanted a guarantee that he was going to get a chance to score a touchdown. I refused to give it. But Kevin Dudley is one of the greatest joys I've had in coaching.
And here he is, the lead blocker. And Gary, if they were ever going to try down in here, I'll tell you.
They need a touchdown bad. They don't care who gets one right now. Michigan needs to get this game into a little more comfort zone.
Dudley, the lead man for Hart. Hart gets to the 4-yard line, and he's hit from behind by Matha. And let's go down to Jackaroot.
Well, Brent, let me lobby for Kevin Dudley to get the ball to try and make this score. He was an outstanding running back in high school at Brookville, Indiana's Franklin County High. Had 525 carries, 3,296 yards. And get this, he rushed for 45, count them, 45 touchdowns. Come on, Lloyd, give him the ball.
I wonder how Coach likes us up here lobbying for Dudley to get the football.
Unless he fumbles it, then we're all going to say something.
He's the lead blocker.
He's going to block.
And Henne's going to throw, man, high and incomplete.
Well, he tried to get him the ball with a touchdown pass to the flat on the play, but it was covered, and Henne threw it away very smartly. Remember, Michigan has to be thinking here that a field goal gives them an 8-point lead. They're going to try to slip Dudley into the flat. That catches the ball well, nothing there, smartly thrown away. You just can't afford a turnover down here.
And they'll take Dudley out now, and they'll spread the field. Remember, the last time they spread the field down here is Chad Henne kept it on the quarterback draw and went in for the touchdown. They're back on the 4-yard line this time. Their big 3 wide receivers on the field, and instead it is Hart, and he reaches out, second effort, battles, touchdown. My, what a second effort by Michael Hart. I am sure you see 32 pointing up at the press box. They will review this one as they take a look up above, and Justin Harrison, he's a smart young man.
Yeah, they've watched TV, right? Did his knee come down? That's the key. He gets hit. I don't see it. It's not clear on that one so far, is it? He stretched it out. That's one look. I wonder if Turner takes a timeout here to take an opportunity. Goes forward. That's not clear. And did Illinois call a timeout on the play to give the replays time to get on the air? Either that or
no, there's been a buzz upstairs. Okay?
There has been good.
It's being reviewed, and this is exactly what they should do in this situation.
Absolutely, because it's a close play, 5-point game. So far, I've seen nothing that I would overturn this from myself.
Looks like his leg was on top of a teammate's leg.
Yes, it does to me.
It's going down.
And just as it hits the ground, the ball is breaking the plane, it looks like to me. Stretches out.
To be indisputable.
Right, stretching
video
out.
Evidence.
I think that's a touchdown so far. One more look. See if we can find another angle. Hit, knocked, rocked. Does any knee? Keep watching those knees. Keeps churning, just as Jack said. Gets over, and he stretches out. I don't see anything so far of his knee going down. Of course, they got the flat screen in their booth. You know, it might be a little better on the flat screen. You know, it's an important play, though, and I'm glad they've gone to replay. This is what it's for, a 5-point game. If it's not a touchdown, Michigan has to kick a field goal. What a drive.
So we close in on 2 o'clock Central Time. And the Michigan Wolverines, taking over in the 3rd quarter, are waiting now the review of a play that was called a touchdown on the field. And here comes the referee.
After reviewing the play stands as ruled on the field. It is a touchdown.
That's all Turner can ask for in that situation, and it certainly seemed to us to be the correct call. If the knee was ever close to being down, it looked like it was on the leg of a teammate as he reached out and broke the plane of the end zone. He is so tough to bring down after contact. That's 234 yards for Hart.
Spread the ball out and run inside the 10. Michigan loves to do that.
And for 2, and they've got it to Avant easy that time.
Yeah, that's a stop fade. That's a very good call by Michigan. So many teams run that fade to the end zone. That time you start the fade and throw behind the receiver. Watch this. Throw behind. It's a stop fade. It's called all the way. Beautiful execution.
So in the second half, Michigan steps up and takes charge. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American Revolution. Pacific Life, offering insurance, annuities, and investments. Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. And Outback Steakhouse, no rules, just right. There's the bell tower, and Gary, umpire took a beating here.
Right here, he runs into Mike Wallach, number 45 right there. The umpire is taught to try to move up in the line of scrimmage at the snap. And at the same, you can see he got knocked dizzy right there, kind of almost out on his feet, but tough guy.
Jeff Carr is a umpire on this crew, and they asked him when they were tending to him, what's the score? 30-17, he said. It's okay.
No, he asked, did they make their 2-point play? Because I didn't see it. What a drive by Michigan, huh? 16 plays, 91 yards, 14 of them runs.
Gary, the only disappointment is Dudley didn't score the touchdown.
Yeah, well, they tried to get him the shot on the pass play. He was covered.
Give him a shot. And Michael Hart today, 40 carries. That's 4th all time. And they show reverse on the kickoff, and Michigan says, down at the 16-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10. So here's your offensive leaders for Illinois. Most of the damage, Gary, done in the first half.
Well, it's been nothing in the second half. They don't even have a first down, I don't believe, yet in the second half of this football game. And not one first down. Michigan has just rolled from a 7-point deficit to a 13-point lead. That's 20 straight points by Michigan in the second half.
The Illini now looking for something. Thomas short of the 20-yard line. Well, as the two-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle, the Patriots, Richard Seymour, is an expert in the art of the quarterback sack. To find out how little he knows about the receiving end. That comes when Troy Brown turns the tables on this week's edition of Monday Night Football. You've been sacked.
I saw that check. Looks like he thinks he's giving away $3 million. That's going to be pretty good.
Second down for the Illini.
Woodley's got his hand down right there in the 4-man rush.
Short of the first down on the completion that time to Kornfeld.
Again, Kornfeld is one of those procession receivers. 70% of his completions were for first down. That one was close. Illinois just not enough talent. Isn't it apparent the longer the game goes on that each little position Michigan has a better player? You know, out of the, again, 22 positions, probably Michigan has better talent at 20 of the positions, and it just wears you down after a while.
First down by Butcher's keeper. Well, they've lost their wide receivers. Adeyemo went out with a broken leg. He was their senior speedster. And there's just no threat on the outside. Kendrick Jones, who you see here, he's more of a possession type receiver. But Michigan showing bump and run on him again. They just press him at the line of scrimmage, make it very difficult for him to get off. And Butcher forced to go to the underneath game as he drops it off to Thomas, the running back, and that's a first down for the Illini. And let's check in on that Wolverine D with Jack.
Well, you remember Lloyd Carr told me he wanted to see a better play from defense in the second half. Every Thursday, the defensive staff and the team gather in the defensive locker room, and they read this poem. And then they recite all together the final line from Rudyard Kipling's The Law of the Jungle. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. The idea is no one person stands out on Michigan's D. And
that certainly has been the case here in the second half of this football game, Jack. And there They jammed Thomas at that line of scrimmage. And
can I add something to that?
Oh, I knew you would have something to add.
The strength of the wolf is the pack.
Jack wasn't getting away with this.
And the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the both is the recruiting coordinator around here. You agree? I like those guys in the striped helmets. They can run.
Second down.
I don't see any three-legged wolves out there. That's why.
Here's Butcher. Going to lob one, and his wide receiver is being run off. That's interference. There seemed to be a little bit of question to that as Curry was running down the sideline. He interfered with him.
You can cut him off if you're the defensive back, but you can't push him. Curry panicked earlier and got away with one on Kendrick Jones. This time he cuts him off and then uses his arm. Watch his arm twice there, gets a push, and this time, since the ball is being thrown there, it is an easy call for the back judge to make that play.
Michigan 30, Illinois 17. The Illini led it at the intermission by 7, but in the third quarter, working against the wind, Michigan took over. Now the Illini, their best drive of the game, they've crossed, or I should say the second half, let me correct myself, crossed the 45-yard line, first down. That three-step, quick throw, and that time Franklin Payne, the sophomore from Jackson, Tennessee, was the receiver, and the tackle by Jackson.
You don't want to use me to use my, this is the score that's the most deceptive score story, 30-17. Looks like a whitewash, but at 13 points. You score one time if you're Illinois, you're back in the football game. You know, you got the 30, it looks like game's over. We did those other games earlier. One score changes things quickly.
Thomas, and this will be third and short.
Definitely,
coming up to the Illini. It's
definitely
four down territory.
Yeah, absolutely. The rest of the game is 4 down territory for Illinois.
Yeah, working into the wind, unless they had to go, Gary, for some sort of a dramatic field goal at the end of this game. But otherwise, you're exactly right. 4 down the rest of the game.
And probably onside kick rest of the game, too.
Yeah. 6 minutes to go. First things first, they need a first down here.
2 shots at it.
Shakes, bakes, gets it. First down for the Illini. Clock stops just shy of the 30-yard line. Now the Thrifty post-game report will be coming up, time permitting. John, Craig, and Aaron will have highlights for you. And then, of course, it's on to Ohio State, Iowa. Here in the Midwest, that's the second game of your doubleheader. Future.
Get rid of it. Good job by John Butcher that time, the veteran. Nothing there to the outside, got out of the pocket and threw it far enough to get the no intentional grounding. Pierre Woods on him with pressure that time. Michigan DBs do not respect any of the speed from Illinois. They crowd every route. Every route is very, very tough to complete.
Now Pierre Thomas flanks way out to the right. Got one-on-one against Curry. Got Jones again. Incomplete. And it's incomplete.
Let's give Marcus Curry props on this one. He did a good job of cutting off Jones. Last time he pushed. This time he beats him to the spot. Watch him use his body and his legs. The ball goes deep. Doesn't push. Doesn't panic. Good coverage by Curry.
30-yard line will be 3rd and 10.
So Marcus Curry lost his starting job. Back on the field with Jackson taking the slot man. And Julius Curry, brother, wants a DB in Ann Arbor. 3rd down. Fires, picked up by Jackson. Jackson's got it at the 18, 25, looking for daylight on the far side. 45, midfield, and across midfield. And so one of the finest corners in the country, Marlon Jackson, the senior from Pennsylvania, shows you why he is a candidate for the Thorpe Award. What a slick return.
He did not back up an inch from Mark Kornfeld that time. Kornfeld came up. Remember, he's the possession guy. The ball was thrown too far inside, and Marlon Jackson shows his athletic ability grabbing it and then running after. That's play of the game for Marlon Jackson.
The Wolverines have dominated the second half.
Lack of respect for the speed at this receiver. Watch Marlon Jackson. Watch his back pedal here. Go ahead, watch his back. Go watch his back pedal. All right, well, he didn't back pedal. And he gets an interception on him. When you don't have speed in this league, those DBs squat on you, and you can get a lot of balls intercepted.
To show you the respect, that's his first interception of the season. That's how frequently opponents throw away from number 3 when they're taking on Michigan. And now Max Martin starts to pound in. How about your keys here, Mr. G?
Well, I thought that the way Michigan needed to win this game was spread the ball and run. They were effectively doing that down near the goal line, and Hart needed 30 touches. Boy, he came through. 43 touches today has been the dominant. And first half had those 2 interceptions, but second half, no turnovers. When Michigan Brent doesn't turn the ball over, they're tough to stop.
It's going to be kind of interesting now because Lloyd Carr, among many, many things that I respect, is a very compassionate man. He knows how difficult the times are for Ron Turner right now. And he knows he has him by the throat. 30-17 with 4:42. And he's got Max Martin in there. And you're going to watch the draws and the delays. And Lloyd's going to work on that clock and try to run this game out right now. It's a long time to go. It's going to be difficult. And our look at a potential singular player of the week candidate from today's game. To vote, text player to 64444 or log on to ESPN.com as Michael Hart, 40 carries for 234 yards and a touchdown, 3 receptions, 23 yards.
And coming into this football game, Michigan's longest rush of the year was for just 17 yards. Today they had one for 32. So you can see the difference. They were able to spring him to get those yards. Imagine that, Michigan coming into the, 7th game of the year, and the longest rush for the year, 17 yards. Hart's getting better.
Now it's 4th down and short for Carr in the
they got to punt the ball, don't they? They need to punt the ball.
Wants to make absolutely certain here.
Not time for Braylon Edwards to come in and do his flip yet, is it?
Do you want the way he ended the,
the victory formation
Minnesota game?
Not time for that yet.
This, of course, was a week ago. Watch number 1. Game over. Yeah.
In your helmet, shoulder pads to be able to do that.
Edwards with only 3 catches for 18 yards.
Don't you just get the feeling that the Michigan staff, the administration, the fans, and the players are going, glad this game is over. We can get on to Michigan, on to Purdue. We've been talking about it for 2 weeks. Now we get to concentrate on Purdue.
3:25 to go. Certainly Lloyd doesn't wind up in any kind of a 30-24 game with an onside kick, so he's taking some precautions over here. Not, a blocked punt. Illinois really, as Gary pointed out, with this score, you're just a couple plays away from climbing back in. So the Wolverines being pretty careful right here.
3:30.
So with the timeout, the clock is being changed to 3:30. So let us take a break. Well, our officials have readjusted the clock now, and it's officially 3:37 left in this football game. So a few more precious seconds for Illinois. Finley is on the field to punt it. The Illini will be moving into that wind, trailing 30-17 here. And he'll boom this one onto the end zone, and they'll come out of bring it out in the 20-yard line. Time for the Pacific Life game summary. And the throw to Ecker by Chad Henne. That was his touchdown pass, then his quarterback draw. And then the third touchdown was a great effort by the freshman Hart, who has carried 40 times for 234 yards.
Yeah, I think Lloyd Carr loves the way Michigan won this game. They come back in the second half. They didn't have to do it with fancy 300-yard passing. They've established the running game now for Purdue to stop with Hart. They go into the Purdue game now with everything working, all the offense clicking.
Future on the slant. That should be interference on Curry. It is. That's pass interference. 15 yards, 1st and 10, and let us get an update from John Saunders.
Brent, what separates a good team from a great team? Or might be having a Heisman Trophy winner quarterback. Jason White, 8 yards to Mark Clayton. Second time they hooked up in the game. 4th touchdown pass of the game for Jason White, and a 10-point lead now for the Sooners.
All right, John, that's a 10-point difference there, and the first down has just been marked off after the pass interference by Curry, and I guess that Mr. Curry better get his act ready for Purdue next week.
He jumps everything, and he's very physical.
Here comes Future in the pocket, complete, another first down to the 46-yard line. Franklin Payne. Well, our Chevrolet players of the game, and no surprise, Michael Hart. What a performance. There are his numbers, 257 total yards, and Mike Wallach with 15 tackles. Future backfires complete again, out of bounds. Clock stops. Gain of about 3 yards on the play, and it'll be 2nd down and 7. 3-12, and as Gary pointed out, 30-17 can be very misleading. The Illini are 2 huge plays away for climbing back in it. Michigan's dominated this second half, but the Illini still trying to give themselves a chance, still trying to battle away here. But they are going into that stiff wind, 25 miles an hour, measured gusts up to 35 here today. Future quickly to the drop, fires into the underneath man. He's got the first down. The fullback, Davis, crosses the 40-yard line. Clock stops. 3 minutes and 3 seconds.
This is the style of defense Michigan likes to use against spread. 3 down linemen right here, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. It's something that they like to use against spread teams. We'll see it next week against Purdue. They keep everything in front of them, try to make tackles and force the teams to go the long way.
And Davis runs out of that formation. Monday making the stop.
Larry Harrison and Pierre Woods on the tackle.
On 2nd down, Bucher's short drop, got the slant, got a little bit behind the man that time, working against Hall on that side. 2.5 minutes to go.
That's throwing into the wind again. When you throw sideways with or against the wind, that ball slides on you. And that ball really slid to the outside.
51 points Michigan State puts up on Minnesota today. So the Golden Gophers now in full retreat, having lost a heartbreaker at Ann Arbor and now blown out at East Lansing.
Minnesota's defense just doesn't look like their Big Ten caliber championship defense this year.
3rd down and 4 for Bucher and the Illini. Bucher's going to run for the first down. Got daylight. Across the 15-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Illini. So if they can score quickly, it'll be onside kick time. And that's a story as far as the coaching staff at Michigan is concerned. We'll get to that if Illinois scores. Underneath, here's Davis at the 10-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and about 6. Remember now, the Illini can get a first down without scoring. Manning the stop for the Wolverines.
Marlon Jackson, number 3, making the stop.
2 minutes to go.
Michigan stays
Short
in their
drop.
zones.
Deflected and almost picked off by Manning.
Boy, Manning can do it all, can he? We saw him take on fullbacks, tailbacks. He makes drops. That's another reason that Michigan front 7 is so versatile. They line up at linebacker, they line up at defensive end, and they play pass coverage. Great athletes.
Now Bucher brings him up on 3rd down. incomplete, and Jackson was on top of the intended receiver and did a terrific job on Payne.
Defending was Marlon Jackson, number 3.
Payne coming across number 80. Marlon Jackson was all across him on that ball, but the ball was in front of him, not catchable. 4th down. Gotta have
Illinois
it.
must score here.
Yep.
Or get the first down. 1:57 to go. They can still get the first. Need about 5 yards for that.
Michigan
But
stays
here's your ball game right now. Future. Incomplete, and it's Jackson again. Penalty. There's your first down.
Yep.
A little bit too tight on the coverage that time. And the flag is thrown.
He closed so quickly on that throw that time. He actually beat the ball to the receiver. It was bang, bang.
Pass interference, defense number 3. It's a spot foul, automatic first down.
Watch this, goes out, come back in. Jackson sees the throw, closes on it, and it goes right through the shoulder as the ball gets there. You know, back-to-back plays, I think, on that play. You can see clearly went right through Thomas on that play. Another chance for the Illini.
Quarterback draw, Future, and there was just too much traffic in the middle that time. Nothing had opened up for him. There was no daylight.
Brent, real interesting. Ron Turner went up to the official before the play and said, after this play, if we don't score, I'm going to call a timeout. So you knew it was going to be a run. He was thinking ahead. He called the quarterback draw and got the timeout called very well. Way to think ahead as a coach.
So, of course, the game next in the Midwest. Ohio State at Iowa. The Buckeyes trying to snap that 2-game losing streak. Some of you see Missouri, Texas, North Carolina State, Maryland, Arizona State, USC. Here in the Midwest, it'll be Ohio State and Iowa. 1:47 to go. Turner knowing that it needs a touchdown, an onside kick, and a second touchdown. So it'll be 2nd down and goal for Butcher. The fullback, Jason Davis, has been very effective coming out of the backfield as a receiver. Coach Turner has not used his tight ends as receivers today. Kendrick Jones has been a possession type. They have to be very aware of where number 3, Marlon Jackson, is defensively. A little bit too aggressive that time for the Wolverines, but he's not something you could beat easily. They have attacked Curry a few times. Butcher fires high and incomplete, and now it is 3rd down. Franklin Payne the target.
Receiver was Franklin Payne.
1:42 remaining in regulation. 30-17 Michigan over Illinois. Illinois led by 7 at the half. They have been shut out here in the second half. The Buckeyes and the Hawkeyes are next. But the Illini must score a touchdown and have a successful onside kick here to stay alive, and they've got 2 downs to do it. This is 3rd. Butcher waits for the clear, throws the interception, and that's going to do it. Picked off by Michigan. That was McClintock. Not a well-thrown football, and McClintock with his 2nd interception of the game, and that is the 4th Illinois turnover.
Very interesting. Michigan stayed in the zone look the whole time. Every play of this drive, once Illinois got inside the 15 to the 20-yard line, Michigan kept all of their defensive backs looking at the quarterback and just watching and taking up space. Get used to this, Purdue. That's what you will see coming next Saturday.
Well, there's a young man with a couple of picks and his favorite former pro athlete. Played some great college football right here in Champaign, the legendary Dick Butkus. And McClintock also a pretty good baseball player. Pretty good hands he has shown us here today. And a penalty flag falls.
Yeah, Michigan jumped off sides. False start on Michigan.
Let's take a look at our out of whack update. Braylon Edwards with only 1 reception in the first half, and I think the whole game stayed out of whack. However, in fairness to Braylon, he had one taken back because of a holding call that was a spectacular touchdown reception nullified in the first half. That was just a great hit.
And this only helps Michigan set the stage for Purdue, because if you're Brock Spack, defensive coordinator for Purdue, you know you got to cover number one. I mean, he's a threat every play, and now they've established everyone else, putting 418 yards, and Braylon Edwards only getting, what, 18 of them? That's amazing.
We want to bring it into this game and thank a couple of folks here. A minute and a half for the Wolverines after the penalty, 1st and long. Max Martin is the cleanup back. Hart carried 40 times here today. Martin behind the left side of the offensive line, and the offensive line of the Wolverines did a great job today. Stenovich, Riley, Bass, Lynch, and Long. And folks, here is your mad move of the week. One of my favorites. When you come down to Champaign, what's better than Chief Alanowek? His halftime performance. Never lose it, Illinois fans. Never lose it. It's a great tribute. And about 30 minutes after this game ends, it's hoops time, and I'm looking out here. I'm at Assembly Hall.
They're lined up.
Jack, they're lined up over there
to get into
basketball. Well, it's no surprise, Brent. Consider the fact that all the preseason publications have listed the Fighting Illini as probably one of the top 5 teams in the country. Why? Well, how about D. Brown, their point guard? And how about the fact that the starting 5 from 1 year ago that was so good are all back? For Illini fans, the countdown has begun. It's 31 minutes and 28 seconds before that place gets filled to the brim and the Orange Crush starts cheering, because hoops will be officially underway.
That is amazing to look at a football stadium empty and look across the way.
There's got to be 2,000 people walking in that door right now.
And Gary, all the experts say that the Illini have a chance to get to the Final Four. And wouldn't that be something? That's right down the road in St. Louis, I believe, this year.
Yep.
Oh, would that be something, huh? Great team. We look forward to seeing the Illini. Coach Weber this year. 30-17 Michigan here. And the Wolverines keeping themselves alive in the race for the big BCS bucks. Pasadena doesn't sound too bad for the Wolverines. Well, wait a minute, I forgot. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. Mr. Daniels, a big Purdue guy. I know.
Hey, you got to win them no matter what, right?
Isn't that the truth? And you know, Wisconsin in the middle of a great year. I guess Minnesota's now out of it with the two defeats. And how about the job John L. Smith's doing up at Michigan State?
State, very improved football team.
Yeah, and there's Braylon Edwards in the victory formation as we come down inside of a minute. Does he do it on the road too?
I don't know. He might have been warned. I tell you what. Who's the kicker that got hurt pulling one of those things? The Tampa Bay kicker or something like that?
It was never the same. Came from Kansas State, huh?
Grammatica. Remember Grammatica? You pull a muscle doing a flip. Lloyd might be upset.
And
he takes him out.
They're going to get him out of the game. There's going to be no somersault here today. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. And you know what? Lloyd is really furious with Chad Henne. You know what he's saying? Don't you be dinking around out there when you can get that knee and get down. You know? Remember that shot was San Diego State?
By San Diego State.
And as a result of what went on out there, Finley going to have to punt it, and they'll probably take the penalty now to let the time run out. Let me thank a couple folks here, the SID.
Offense number 39, 5 yards. The down remains 4th.
The University of Illinois Associate Sports Information Director Cassie Arner, and thanks Cassie for all your help. And from Michigan, of course, Dave Abloff. And Dave, we look forward to seeing you prior to the Purdue game. And Michigan took time out here. Gary, what's going on?
I'm pretty surprised if Michigan punts here. I really am. It's a 13-point game, 14-point game. They should take a safety, okay, and then they have a free kick on the play.
Well, let me remind everybody what we're talking about next Saturday. It will be Chad Henne, Braylon Edwards, and the Michigan Wolverines taking on Joe Tiller's Purdue Boilermakers. Kyle Orton, perhaps the hottest throwing quarterback in the country. But we will see what happens between Purdue and Wisconsin a little bit later today. Orton and the Boilermakers are going up against a big-time defensive front. Best defensive line Gary and I've seen this year in Wisconsin.
And they you know, Bell and Starks are not bad, and Jimmy Leonard makes plays in the secondary too. They'll give him a game. See, with it being, 14 points here wins the game for Illinois, I think Michigan can just take a safety here and get out of it.
Well, let's see what happens here. Coach Danielson would take a safety.
They're going to do that. They put Jermaine Gonzalez back there because he's used to handling the ball.
Here he comes. He's got 12 minutes to kill.
12 seconds.
I should say. Here he goes. And there's a penalty flag.
Yeah, they're all holding. You can hold as long as you want on a safety.
Penalty markers are down.
Now let's see. There's 3 seconds left on the clock.
It's a long time to kill.
We've been running
it's
back
like
there
doing
Pretty well officiated game today, wouldn't you say?
Yep, did a good job, especially the key play on that touchdown.
Yeah, Whitvote and the boys upstairs. Instant replay. It was nice to review it.
Half the distance to the goal line. Repeat, 4th down.
See what happens here now.
You know, he wasn't throwing it. It had been a pass from the end zone with holding in the end zone. I know in the NFL that's a safety. So
it's still a safety. They were trying to get a safety anyway, so it doesn't matter if you hold when you got an end zone play like that.
And Gary down here on the sidelines. Lloyd Carr.
There's a safety. There's a safety signal. Now hold on here. Yeah, there's that's what I wanted.
Yeah, that was the strategy. That's what we practice.
Let's take a few seconds off the clock. You know what Lloyd's really doing? He's just cutting into the Ohio State TV time.
Just one more chance for one more recruit to watch Michigan instead of Ohio State.
Columbus continue to suffer. Go ahead, Jack.
Well, Brent, I've never seen this before. You saw those yellow linens out on the field when the team ran off. The first thing Lloyd Carr did to every player, great job, great job, great job. You ever heard Lloyd Carr tell someone a great job when there's 4 penalty flags?
No. But then he had to get the whole officiating thing straightened out because it sounded like it was half the distance for.
Which wouldn't have mattered. You could have run another 3-second play. That's why you'd forced the Illini to take the penalty in the 2 points.
And that's when he told the officials, great job, great job.
So here comes the free kick. And fielded by Kornfeld, and that's going to not quite do it. Looking for someone to lateral to. And that'll bring it to an end. So it is 30-19, an 11-point win. And Ohio State, Iowa coming up next. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. Stay tuned for part 2 of ABC's college football doubleheader coming up. Again, the final score, 30-19 for Gary and Jack. I'm Brent. So long, everybody. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports Championship Television.
Coming up on Michigan Replay, the Wolverines stay tough on the road with a win over Illinois. We'll have the highlights. We'll also meet a special teamer who is spending his 5th year booming the ball for field position. And we'll look ahead to a showdown in West Lafayette as we scout the formidable Boilermakers of Purdue. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by The Joy of Pepsi and by Big Boy Restaurants. Big Boy makes you say, oh boy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. The Wolverines against Illinois on the road come up with a 30-19 win, but for the first 45 minutes, you sure kept everybody on the edge of their seats.
Well, it was a road game, wasn't it? That
it was,
seems to be the way the road games
go. So if it's a
go.
road game, you want to wait till the fourth quarter to put it away?
Well, you know, Jim, the truth is Illinois was coming off a couple of tough losses, and everybody thought that this would be an easy game, but I give a lot of credit to Illinois. They played hard, and we made some mistakes that helped them.
Right, but this is a tough game to play on Saturday because, let's face it, they were desperate. This is kind of a season saver for them.
Well, and emotionally for us, it was a game that we were not at our peak, but you have to find a way to win those games, and I think particularly in the second half, we played very well.
It started out very well. The first snap they make, you get a fumble recovery.
Well, Lawrence Reed causes a fumble here. Gabe Watson really gets great penetration there. The back gets spun around, and Ernest Shazor recovers the football. That's exactly what you want on the road. And we've got great field position. We don't convert on third down, and Garrett Rivas kicks a ball, and Jim, that wind was as bad as any wind I remembered in this game.
And you've spent time down in Champaign, and that place, when it is windy, it blows through there like a hurricane.
Well, the wind chill was probably in the 30s, and here we come out again, get the ball back. Our defense stops them. Big second down. We just got a holding penalty here on this drive, and he hits Jason Avon. And then here on third down, we're going to convert a big third down.
And
here.
it's Avon again.
Avon again, and a great protection there. We overcome a holding penalty, which was the key element in this drive.
Here's a nice run by Michael Hart.
Well, I think it's an excellent call on third down and 6. The defense is playing man coverage, expecting pass, and Terry made a good call there. And then Max Martin, who got 12 carries in this game, and really one of the real surprises for us to be able to give him some work.
You've got a 10-0 lead, still first quarter. They've got a good screen package.
Yes, and twice in this game. That's the first time they convert a first down, get the ball outside the defense. We got to get that straightened around. And here on the cutback, Illinois ran the football very well here in the first half against us.
But the defense stiffens. Here's a 4th and 1.
Big stop. Big stop with Illinois on good field position. They decided not to try a field goal.
Well, that was into the wind, though.
Yeah.
The wind affected how you played this game.
There's no question, and that was the reason why.
They get the ball back, though, after you don't do anything with your possession, and they put together a drive.
Well, here's a good play on the sweep. We can't get off blocks there. Their back is running hard, and they make a big first down inside the 5-yard line. And then on third down, we got a chance here. One of our Ernest gets picked there and has to go around, and they hit the pass for a touchdown.
10-7 game at that point, and it's getting kind of nervous time, but you come back running the ball. Michael Hart, better than 40 carries.
Well,
he's a kid.
He likes
what are you
the ball.
doing?
Well, you know, he seems to be able to handle it, and here we put a great drive together, and Chad makes a mistake. He misreads the coverage there, and I don't think we're ever going to get this down. But watch the play that Steve Breston makes to save a touchdown. Chad finally runs this guy out of bounds, but not before Illinois got great field position.
And then they go play action here, and they get the fullback out in your flat.
Well, we miss assignment on the flow away, the split flow. We don't read the back coming back weak, and then they knock it in and take the lead.
14-10. Last thing you need to do is the favorite on the road with a team that's desperate. They get the lead right before half.
Well, we've got some time here to put a drive together, and he has Jason open for a big first down there, but throws the ball a little bit too high, and then they had 2 returns of these interceptions for 100 yards, but Tim Massaquoi finally gets him down, and our defense gives up a couple plays here, but we do find a way to hold them to a field goal, and Ernest Shazor, who had 12 tackles in this game, makes one to negate a big play, and then they kick it through. Now, Jim, 17-10.
That's what I said at the top of the show, that you made this real interesting, and the final goes 30-19, but you make it interesting through 3 quarters. Now, what was the message at halftime?
Well, I had, in Thursday's practice, we made some mental errors that normally we don't make. It wasn't a sharp practice, and which I wasn't very happy about. And I told them, I said, look, you got 30 minutes. If you want to stay in the championship race, you got to come out. We got to play. We got to stop making these mistakes. We had far too many penalties in this game. Probably the most disappointing thing of the day.
All right, the Wolverines did come back in the second half. We'll be back and show you those highlights. But first, we hear from Jason Avon, who says the first half was really a lesson learned.
know, we're a little bit out of sync, you know, and it's gonna take us. It starts with us coming in and being focused. You know, I don't think we were that focused, and we got to get better and improve for next week.
Michigan Replay takes you inside the locker room.
We talked about all week, you know, we had slipped back to second in the nation in a turnovers game. So we wanted to, make it a point, you know, to come out and get some turnovers in the game. And I think we did that. We got 4 turnovers, you know, and hopefully move back up in that status.
Well, the Wolverines opened the second half down 7. A critical play in that second half at the beginning. You chose, as you do, winning the toss to defer. In the second half, Illinois took the wind. So you were into the wind starting the third quarter. And I thought the opening drive, even though you didn't score, was a huge drive.
Well, Jim, we got a good kickoff return and put together an excellent drive. Here, Chad hits Jason Avon again for a first down. He makes some plays here. This play, the draw play, was an effective thing, and this kid some way finds a way to squirm out of there and always get a few extra yards. But
here's the fourth down play.
Fourth down, we go for it again, and you mentioned
because
early,
of the
because
wind.
of the wind.
You can't kick into that.
We would not probably have had good odds there. But here, our defense makes the biggest play, I think, of the game. Scott McClintock makes a great read. Jim had the right coverage on here. And now we got the football back on the 5-yard line.
And you convert for a score.
Well, look at this play here. Very good play action. I thought Michael Hart made a great fake.
He sure did.
Yep. And Chad hits Tyler Eckert for a 1-yard touchdown run. And now we got, but we missed the extra points. So now it's 17-16. I thought this was a great stand here by our defense. On first down, Lamar Woodley made a big TFL. To put them in a bad situation, we get a sack.
And these are the 2 plays right after you score. And this is where the defense, I thought, reasserted itself in that third quarter. They couldn't do anything with the wind.
Well, there's no question. Our defense came up big in the second half. And here,
Look
a
at
great
that
8-yard run.
That's as good an 8-yard run as you'll see.
Well, it's pretty good. He gets hit behind the line of scrimmage. Here we block well. On the sweep, and we're on the move, and I think beginning to wear the Illinois defense down. I thought Terry Malone was very patient, ran the football, and once we got him going, and we executed very well.
Over 200 yards for the freshman. Not a bad day.
Well, it's a good day for a lot of guys blocking for him, and here I thought an outstanding play, the quarterback draw, and we get the lead for the first time.
22-17 at this point. I thought a great call because you had tried to pound it in there, then you spread them out and got something done.
Well, the sweep was a good play for us, a stretch play. And here again, you got Tyler Eckert on the right side of that line making a good hole here. Max Martin got an opportunity here to play significantly in the second half, Jim, and gave us a real boost. You know, this is really
another true freshman running back.
Yeah, there's a good block by Braylon, but he's really practiced well in the last month, and he's going to get the football more.
And then Michael Hart scores, and again, he just finds a way to move ahead. Well, he is not down here.
This was reviewed, one of those plays that was reviewed, and I think it's very obvious that his knee did not touch the ground. A big call for us on third down to get the touchdown, because now it's a 13-point spread. But here again, we let the screen outside the defense, and Illinois is on the march, and there's plenty of time with 5:33 to go.
But your defense steps up. Marlon Jackson.
Well, Marlon makes a great interception, great blocking there. Leon Hall making a block. And he returns the ball. We get great field position.
Then they are again back on the. You're still not out of the woods, even though there's under 4 minutes to go. You're still worried about this.
Well, absolutely, because a touchdown, a big play, then they onside kick and get the football. There's plenty of time. They still had two timeouts left.
Here they are inside the 5.
Future scramblings for a big first down, and then Scott McClintock. We dropped 8 here. And of course, you never talk about that when it works, but in that particular instance, we came up with a big play.
and you win it. You take a safety late, 30-19 the final. This is a game that it's kind of good to get out of because you didn't play your best and yet you got the victory. And there's a lot of coaching points you can make to your team.
Well, there's a lot of good things. And, you know, we got to play in the weather's going to change here, Jim. The weather's going to probably be a big factor here down the stretch. It normally is in late October, November, and certainly Saturday was a lot of weather problems, and particularly in the kicking game. So there's a lot of things that we can take out of that game. And again, we had to struggle to win.
The big thing, and you've talked about it 3 weeks in a row, we've sat here and talked about it, and you've preached to me. We are not going to turn the ball. We can't turn the ball over, and yet you're still doing that a little bit. Those are things that, again, you have to work on to correct in big games on the road.
Well, I think the one mistake we made there was a mistake where he misread the coverage. The second one was a physical mistake. He threw the ball a little bit
Talking
too
about
high.
Chad Henne.
Yeah.
I keep
Jim, yeah.
I keep like reminding people, hey, he's 19.
Well,
he's a freshman.
You know, anybody that's impatient with Chad Henne, then that's too bad because he's done a great job. But the truth is, what was really good about this game is our defense came up with four turnovers. So we won the turnover battle. We'd like to never have any, and yet you know, you're going to make some mistakes, but if your defense can come up with 4, then you're going to be okay.
Absolutely, and you're going to be okay. When we come back, we'll take a look at Michigan's fine punter, Adam Finley. But before we do that, we're going to hear from the 2 freshman running backs, Max Martin and Mike Hart, both of them pulling for each other.
I don't really know what to say about that. You know, like I said, I've been working real hard, and I know Mike has. So, you know, it's all up to the coaches, just giving us the opportunity and having the faith in us to go out there and know that we're going to do our best to help the team.
I'm real proud of Max. You know, he came out, he's been working real hard in practice. You know, he comes out 120%. You know, he works real hard to get out there in practice. You know, he's trying to learn the offense real well. You know, it's great to see him out there, you know, getting the ball and, you know, running it real well.
The kicking game, so very important, yet it's often overlooked. Last year, Michigan had trouble with the kicking game, but this year it's much improved. Mike DeBoard has taken over as special teams coordinator and made it a point of emphasis. And for DeBoard, it's nice to have a 5th-year senior like Adam Finley as his punter. The Indiana native is averaging better than 40 yards a punt, and he's got a great attitude about the job.
Well, I think you're always trying to get better. I think this year we're really trying to work hard and getting our net punt up.
Lloyd Carr now wants Adam Finley, if he can, to pin them deep.
Line of scrimmage, the Hawkeye 38, the snap, no pressure. He hangs one high toward the left sideline. Ball's going to hit inside the 10 and just die right there. Beautiful kick.
I try to take a lot of pride in down inside the 20s because I really do think it starts to change the play calling and limits their offense and kind of puts them in a hole.
It's a pressure-packed job that Michigan coaches take seriously. As a matter of fact, head coach Lloyd Carr makes sure he puts the heat on Finley each and every time he kicks in practice.
He's always right there, putting the pressure on you and putting trying to make things tough on you. I think it's really helped. It's really helped me to get used to it and feel comfortable back there. Because if your head coach is 2 or 3 feet away from you as you're trying to punt the ball, it makes going out there by yourself a lot easier on Saturdays.
Kickers are also sometimes characterized as a little off-center, not your standard football player. But that's not the case with Adam Finley. He's in graduate school studying biomedical engineering. You think his punting is important? Wait till you hear what he wants to do after his football days are over.
I really want to try to get into more prototyping. They do a lot of things with prosthetic limbs, prosthetic organs, artificial organs, a lot of like braces, a lot of quality of life type of things that artificial joints, stuff like that. Hopefully I can maybe catch the baby boomer population and really try to make a lot of devices to help out with that a lot.
Biomedical engineering.
Did you understand that?
No, I was going to say, you got some smart kids on
He's
this
a lot
football
smarter
team.
than the guy's coaching him.
No kidding. And the guy that does the coach's show.
He's a fun guy to be around. And I can remember recruiting Adam. Mike DeBoard, I think, was here at the time because he's a fifth-year guy now. But I was so excited when he committed here because not only was he a great kicker, but a great student, quality guy, been a great asset to our Michigan football.
The thing is amazing is after he's done, he's going to contribute to the society in a sense that he's going to help people walk that have limbs. It's just, that stuff is amazing to me.
Well, it's exciting.
It is.
What he's done, I mean, already working on a graduate degree, he really is representative of the student-athlete concept.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty more football to come, and big one next week. Stay with us. We'll scout the Boilermakers. But first, we hear from Scott McClintock, who says, yeah, it is a pretty big game down there in Purdue.
It's going to be a huge week. It's going to have to be big on preparation. We get back to Ann Arbor, see what we could do, and go down to West Lafayette and do what we can do.
Michigan Replay takes you inside the locker room.
That's how we're going to look at it. I mean, we just got to stay alive in this Big Ten championship race, and that's what we're focused on now, beating Purdue, and we're going to be working on it all week, and we're ready for it.
Well, the Wolverines on the road again next week at Purdue, and Purdue's hurting. They lose a 20-17 game to Wisconsin Saturday, and it's a tough game. You've got to win no matter what because you and Wisconsin don't meet. So you got to keep pace.
Well, I think, there's a lot of football to be played, Jim, but certainly this is a game that I think both teams have looked forward to. It's a great place to play, a tough place to play, very loud, very intimidating from the standpoint of the noise.
And they've got a very good football team. Offensively, they get a lot of kudos because of the kind of guys they got, but defensively they can play.
Well, they've the one thing I think nobody's surprised at what Purdue's done offensively since Joe came to Purdue, but I think what I'm really impressed with is the fact that they have been able to play such great defense. And of course, Kyle Orton is probably the leading candidate for the Heisman, or certainly one of them. Taylor Stubblefield and Jared Voigt. Voigt is a big back, 215 pounds. They run the football as effectively as they throw it, and that's the impressive thing.
And if you get them in man, like here, Notre Dame misses and it could go the distance.
Well, Jim, I think that goes back to Orton and the system. The system is to know the coverage and be able to know the soft spots in the game, in the coverage, or the weaknesses in the defense, and get the ball to the right guy, and that's what they do so well.
And these three defenders are the guys that are kind of the core of their defense. Ray Edwards, George Hall, and a big, strong safety in Kyle Smith.
Well, Edwards and Hall are sophomores and really having outstanding years. And of course, Kyle Smith is a junior. He played a year ago. But it's a very, very good football team, a very good kicking game, all the things that you want, they have.
When you go into a game like this against a team that will spread you out, will you have to play a lot of defensive backs and get matchups and be in?
Absolutely, we got to do both, and the thing that we have to do is mix our coverages, disguise our coverages, and that's hard to do because you are so spread out. But if you line up and play the same thing or play exactly what you're showing, you're going to have a long day, and it's going to be a difficult challenge. The thing we can hopefully do to help our defense is to keep the ball some and keep our defense off the field.
And that was my next question. Against this defense, which is, let's face it, not getting a lot of publicity because the offense gets so much, they're pretty good. What kinds of things must you do? Continue to run the football and pick your spots to try to use the pass?
Well, Jim, I think we have to continue to be a balanced offensive football team. And just as importantly, you obviously have to be able to take what the defense gives you. And sometimes that means you got to run if you can exploit something that you find. But we're a football team. Run it, but we've got to be able to try to stay away from the turnovers.
I was going to say, you're going to stay away from the turnovers. Again,
well, we're going to try.
This is a point of emphasis, right?
It's a point of emphasis.
Because these games are a lot closer.
Yeah.
Because you turn it over.
Thank God for instant replay.
Thank God for instant replay. Well, thank God you all joined us here for Michigan Replay. Don't miss next week. It's going to be a dandy. Michigan versus Purdue right here. Same time, same place on Michigan Replay.
Michigan Replay has been brought to you in part by Absol Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Chevrolet. Stop by your Detroit area Chevy dealers or log on to DetroitAreaChevyDealers.com. And by State Farm, providing insurance and financial services.